fall out, all of all bow wow, call tall pow, south side, outside, pow out like missile thought, fire bounce higher, powers out now. I was outside, now my power pow now. Eyes wide, should've speak utterly upside down, camera obscura, power down scuba, mama in Cuba, my it sounds good now. Out and about, title bout, bow, howl out, high lie, Mutai, Aztec, forearm, Nasdaq, abstract, freckle rockin' chow down, hazmat to deuces, diametrically outbound. Matter of fact, pass that ginger pop in the cooler than the medulla of Rick the ruler. Hula hooping with new bow downs from Nuba. That's that life of a king, got my crown now, feeling accomplished. Super looper fresh chocolate, collectible conscious, young crunk in your town now. Via minor aircraft, snapping like a bear trap. Tijuana Air Max, chainmail gauntlet. Big Bertha earthquakes, 100 dB, 90 BPM, heavy hitting them triplets, 100-sided dice, rolling 79 twice. Get ready, we bringing the jazz back with the rhythm, we're giving them influence on some Midwest liquid mission, tricky nicks and mixing, matching, scratching, rapping, action, Jackson making it happen, pap it, midi, patch it, map it with a pinch of magic, casting master sentences, with a gang of wicked vixens listening close to us, flipping different widgets, mystic digits, coast to coast, pole to pole, folding time, golden time. Overload.
First tonight at 11, a young woman from Brooklyn vanished.
Her family with few clues aside from a cryptic phone call.
And now they want answers. Here's Eyewitness News reporter Lucy Yang.
Taijay Baker, a budding artist, was in her final semester of college. The 23-year-old lived at home with her mother, but now is missing.
After this rally, I'm going right back out there because I'm going to find my daughter.
The nightmare began on May 1st. Taijay took the bus to D.C., supposedly to do some posters for a woman she had met online. Then the nightmare of silence.
Where's my daughter? She got off at the Capitol Union Station, D.C.
The desperate family filed numerous police reports, but complained the first official flyer put their missing person on a wanted poster.
What do you want? Justice! When do you want it?
Now! Eventually, the mother found some leads and surveillance video, which she shared with us. On June 1st, we're told Taijay called from a phone in this salon and in a whispered and scared voice, begged to be rescued.
She said, just tell her mother to come get her.
By the time they raced to Maryland, Taijay was gone. The mother tells me she has tracked down the woman who initially asked her daughter to D.C. She fears her only child may have stepped into some kind of cult.
Boom, this is another TTM Academy lecture. Now, for everybody that's tuning in, just for the record, TTM Academy is a hip-hop science institution. We're an intellectual platform created to teach hip-hop listeners and people that are part of the culture about all aspects of hip-hop culture, where it intersects with history, where criminology more recently, psychology, culture, even religion, all different types of arts and sciences. So here at TTM Academy, we are focusing on not only history, but as well as modern things and contemporary things, right? And all different types of subjects, right? From physics to calculus, trigonometry, all the way to different studies, humanities, and whatnot involving people. So today's lecture is about a very, very serious topic. It's dealing with the controversy, dealing with another hip-hop cult, right? So in the past, we've spoken about Nature Boy being arrested from his Carbonation cult, as well as Rashad Jamal being arrested in his cult. And today we're going to be talking about a cult that has allegations against them that have not been proven. Everything is just in the allegation stage right now. And there's allegations going back and forth, but this is dealing with the missing person that was just found, a missing sister named Tijae Baker. And Taijay Baker, she was just found and her family and people that are helping in the search are saying that she's not the same when she came back, and they found her wandering. And we're going to go into the Taijay Baker story. So we're going to be covering two main topics here. This is the Dark-Lordism cult we're going to be talking about today. So the Dark-Lordism cult, run by Taran Hicks, and I believe he's got a coven attached to his cult, and we're going to be covering that today as it relates to the allegations of their involvement or non-involvement, because we don't know the facts. It's just allegations being pointed at both sides, but we do know that Taijay Baker was missing since May 1st, right? So almost 2 months. She was missing May 1st, and she was just found this weekend. In the past couple of days, she was just found. All right, so today, to start this lecture, we're just going to go back a little bit, because, in the conscious community, there's shout out to General Seti for pointing this out, and a lot of other people for pointing this out about a lot of people getting into Satanism and different types of hybrids of different arts. And also shout out to World News for talking about the fact that a lot of the people that are scamming and doing a lot of things these days in the conscious community are mixing a lot of different doctrines, where obviously new doctrines are created through the hybridization of old doctrines, but if somebody's saying, hey, I'm a Muslim that eats pork, obviously that's against the Muslim doctrine. Or if somebody says they're a Christian that does that, or if somebody says they're a Santeria priestess that doesn't do this or doesn't do that. There's specific rules and there's specific traditions in all of these lineages. So we're going to start back. Many will attribute modern witchcraft and things like that to, a lot of people try to take it back to Egypt and Wajet and whatnot as far as witches are concerned. But we're just going to be talking about modern sorcery, the history and lineage of that, as it relates to the Dark-Lordism cult. And we're going to explore who the Dark Lord is and the Dark-Lordism cult, right? So to start, we're going to look at the parallel between ancient Egyptian and Yoruba, right? There's over 500 words in Yoruba that line up with ancient Egyptian, and it's said that a lot of during the fall of Egypt, a lot of the priests, fled Egypt and went all over different places in Africa. Obviously, it wasn't called Africa at that time, but what we call Africa today. They fled to the Dogon area in Mali. They fled to the Yoruba tribe within Nigeria. And we can see here at the center of the screen, I'm going to zoom in some. This is an actual Yoruba witch numerology. And you can see it looks a lot like chromosomes, right? It looks a lot like chromosomes. And this is a precursor to modern digital technology, whether it's decimal or hexadecimal. There's a lot of different ways and numerical systems that were created by ancient black folks, right? And right here we have the Ogham scripts, where a lot of scholars are like, well, they don't know where it came from, and they even found some in America. And these scripts right here, these Ogham scripts, I'll try to zoom in a little bit. You can see these Ogham scripts. It looks like music notation, and we know that a lot of West African languages, like Yoruba, use melodies and things like that, right? And what's very interesting about this is that this notation also lines up with this this Igbo, this Nigerian Igbo notation. This is an Igbo glyph. Many scholars have attributed possibly the Igbo. And if you look at the history of Europe, Europeans came to Europe about 4,500 years ago. So before that, it was all black, and Indian and Dravidian, basically, all dark-skinned peoples, right? And with the history, we're not going to go into detail into the history of the history of this region, like England and stuff like that. But right here, if you look at, this is the this is the Yorkshire woman, the Ivory Bengal lady. They did her reconstruction, her analysis, and she came out as a sister, right? She's a black woman right here. That's the Ivory Bengal lady, right? AKA the Yorkshire woman. And so, this is a whole nother lecture we did years and years ago just on notation. At our institution, at the TTM Academy, we were one of the foremost authorities on ancient music notation, really the foremost authority on ancient music notation. So this was a lecture on ancient music, the origins of ancient music notation. And I was showing these, Yoruba witch divination systems, right? And we can see these iconographic systems. There's just, as far as sigils and symbols and things like that, all these things have already been invented by ancient people of the black diaspora, right? So we're covering this today as it relates to the Dark-Lordism cult, which is connected to the one of its members, Kali Ma, I believe. They have a Coven as well, right? And we're going that today. We'll go into that today. All right. So we see these Ogham scripts, and you can see they say that it's undeciphered, and they don't know where it comes from and how to decipher it. But like I was saying, most symbols have already been covered, all over the ancient world as far as Africa is concerned, right? And we know there's a direct lineage. People talk about the last king of Scotland. You can talk about the pygmies, dwarves, and things like that that are in a lot of Norse tales. And you can even go to, if you type in, Islamic ring. Let me type that in. I'm going to type Islamic ring right before we get this lecture started. So Islam ring Viking. So I'm going to type Islam ring Viking. And you can see they found this purple ring, this right here. We're going to click on this live science. So, at TTM Academy, we deal with real facts, no cap, right? These are all facts. And we're going to be talking about alleged things today as well. But we're starting with the facts, right? So, for Allah inscription found on Viking era ring. This Viking era ring with the Arabic inscription, it says Allah on it. So, Vikings, Nordic people, Nordic races, genetic wise, we've proven that, Nordic features are coming from East Africa, not the other way around, right? And that, we've found that Vikings were not late Vikings and or people of that region. I'm not to say Vikings. People in the Nordic region today are blonde hair, blue eyes, typical Nordic features. But in the past, that was different. As we know, people in different nations change demographics all the time, right? If you go to Australia now, it's the people that run Australia are not the original people that ran Australia. So that's the same in a lot of countries, most countries around the world. Cultures are always changing. All right, so we did that, I showed you those ancient scripts. Now we're going to go to the word list. Let me click this off. We're going to click on this word list. All right, where's this word list? And also, I'm going to show you this quick thing about, this was the Ivory Bengal lady that I just showed you from the Yorkshire Museum. I showed you her skeleton. But, so if you want to research further into Black Vikings and things like that, you can do that research. This lecture is not about that. This is more about the roots of witchcraft. But, I'm just showing that when we speak of modern occult stuff and things like that, We're coming at it from a literary and historical standpoint. We're not promoting any religion or dissing any religion, but we're dissing negativity. And being that we've done a lot of lectures on the negativity within hip hop, whether it's gangsters, whether it's cults, we've seen that there's a big negative hip hop issue. And so in this lecture, we're covering the negativity that we've seen within hip hop cults. So we covered the Nature Boy cult already, called Carbonation. Now we're moving on to the Dark-Lordism cult, right? And all right, so let me close this window. So right now I'm going to find these names. There you go. So here's the Yoruba Egyptian connection. For those that don't know, so there's over 500 words in Yoruba and ancient Egyptian that have the same sound and same meanings or similar meanings, right? So like in Egyptian, Wu means rise. In Yoruba, Wu means rise. I might be pronouncing it wrong, right? So, and obviously over time, ancient Egyptian evolved just like Yoruba evolves. Languages evolve. People say words differently. We still don't know all the the phonetics of how everything was exactly said in ancient Egyptian, right? But you can see I'm going to go through all these words here. We'll go through this whole list in a whole nother lecture and actually say all these words and talk about different methods of saying them. But as far as the decoding of the Medu Neter, that was done with German first, and that could be affecting the way we're saying all these words. We've still never done a decoding of the Medu Neter using actual Yoruba, right? So now that we're talking about Yoruba, the voodoo or voodoo or Santeria, or there's a lot of different ways, practices for each different country around the world that's taken on the offshoots of the Nigerian religious practice of Yoruba. Different Caribbean countries have taken them in different ways, in different forms, and in even Brazil, and all over there's different forms of that. So we're going to start with this Dark-Lordism cult today. So we already went through that. So I was just showing you the connection between Yoruba and Egypt. So within the conscious community, a lot of people call us Hotep. So I don't mind that name, because Hotep means peace, just like Islam, just like Shalom. Those are all different words for peace, or paz in paz in Spanish, right? There's a lot of different ways to say peace, right? And so I'm just showing this connection right here, because we're gonna see a lot of these words come up, But yeah, so within the community, Hotep really these days means historian, black folks that are interested in ancestors or history or things like that, historical debates. So I'm not mad when people say like, oh, y'all Hoteps or this and that, because I embrace that word. But the roots of that word actually came from the Afro-punk people trying to diss, black scholars, online scholars, lecturers, not just online, but lecturers that were lecturing before online, as well as the new generation of people that are online. So now as far as the new generation of people online, I'm going to flip to here. And this is the cult that we're talking about. So you can see this cult is mixing different things from Santeria and mixing it with more like Crowleyan Satanism. You can see with the hand symbols and Gardner. For those that don't know, we'll flip back over here. Gerald Gardner is and shout out to SETI once again for doing a lecture on how Gardner and Madame Blavatsky, and also shout out to Asir for even telling me, giving me a tip to say like, yo, you should, I've heard about this cult, because I had never heard about them, and he's like, yo, you should do a lecture on them. So I've done the research and I'm doing a lecture on it. So shout out to Asir for pointing out the dark side of the Hotep community, the conscious community, just like SETI. Shout out to SETI for pointing all that stuff out, right? Different lecturers pointing out the negativity that's within, hip hop culture. But yeah, so Gerald Garner is the father of modern Wicca. He was actually hiring working girls. I'm gonna have to say working girl when I'm dealing with that profession. I'm gonna try to keep things as clean as possible for the algorithms. But yeah, he was kind of a nutcase, and he was actually having to hire working girls to do his rituals because he couldn't find regular people. And it was more people picked up his teachings and practices more after his death. And then there was, also people like, Aleister Crowley, who, this is Madame Blavatsky right here. This, Madame Blavatsky is one of the founders of, modern Western Wicca and witchcraft, right? Especially when you mix the, Satanist elements and things like that, and also, mixing symbols like World News was talking about. You can see in her symbols, she's mixing up the Ankh and mixing it up with, this, the snake here, the serpent representing infinity eating itself, right? And we've got the Star of David, and, we've got some, the Indian stuff up above it, just mixing the different religions and stuff like that. So Gandhi was inspired by her, even Adolf was inspired by her. She had a lot of different students, right? And, she's influenced a lot of modern, like, kind of West Coast Cali, New Age movements, right? All right, so I'm going to shut that down, but we're not getting deep into that. We're just doing a little bit of background on the history of all this stuff. But yeah, so Jay-Z, and we've seen Jay-Z embrace Aleister Crowley. We've talked about that in a past lecture. The fact that him and Meek Mill have been trying to push for people like Young Thug not going to jail for their lyrics, when obviously the feds were tracking Young Thug since 2016. So, they were foolishly telling what they were doing and how they were hurting and killing and intimidating people as a real mafia gang on wax. People don't press wax anymore for those types of artists. But they're pressing it on digital format now. But it's a very, very interesting subject, dealing with criminology and hip hop, because I used to be of the mind that it's like, oh, it's up to the parents to discern, all these things and da in the 90s. But then, after having multiple cousins die and stuff like that, I've had 3 cousins die so far. And I found out about a 4th cousin while I was in Cali, not recently. He got murdered earlier this year. So that's 4 cousins now that I got murdered. And 2 of them have the same name. Both of them have the name Marcus. It's crazy. Right, but yeah, so Jay-Z has this shirt called it says "Do Without Wilt," which is a quote from Aleister Crowley, this guy right here, who is a madman, kind of too, who is you see he's got the Moorish star right there. He's appropriating a lot of African, and ancient Black American, ancient global Black symbols. You know what I'm saying? Global historical symbols. The Moroccan Empire was, all over, right? Because we call the anchor of a ship, we call that, it's a Moor, right? You know what I'm saying? Right. Now, so yeah, a lot of people, kind of worship this guy, and they're mixing, hip hop stuff into that. But this cult, they're mixing more Crowleyan and Blavatsky and we just saw Blavatsky with the Ankhs and stuff, and they're mixing that with some Hotep stuff, and then mixing it with being part of hip hop culture, and mixing it with Santeria, right? And right, and we see Jay-Z chilling with Maria Abramovic and her spirit cooking stuff. But we're not going to get into the I word stuff. I'm not even going to say it for the algorithms, but the ill word, it starts with ill. But I'm not even going to talk about that today. You know, we're just focusing on this coven. So let me close this window. All right. Now this is, we're going to save this for a little bit later. We're going to focus on the coven. But actually, you know what? I think this is kind of important to show this at first. You know, so people are accusing the coven that I showed y'all, you know, it's really like a cult, but it's the cult leader, Taran Hicks, right? People are accusing him of having abducted this young woman that I'm about to press play right here. She's an artist, and her name is Tijae Baker. So I'm going to press play. And this was like an art show she had, right? And that's her right there. So that's an art show. So this woman was missing. We're going to go into the news stories in a second. But yeah, this woman was missing for almost 2 months. She was just found a couple days ago, and people are accusing this cult right here of abducting her, right? This is the leader right here, Taran Hicks, and then this is, I believe it's Tatiani or Kali Ma, and we'll get into all that stuff. So, you know, who is this cult? We're gonna read an interview about this cult. People are accusing this cult of being, not only is it a sex cult, but people are alleging that they, you know, this is all alleged. People are alleging that they drink blood in their rituals, and that this guy could be a pimp. You know, this is all alleged. You know, this is all allegations. And they're saying they're not part of that, though, you know, they've made a lot of their pages invisible now, you know, since all these allegations have come out, including the Dark-Lordism Instagram, and I believe their covens, maybe TikTok and stuff too. A lot of things have been, I can't remember all the exact ones, but definitely I believe the Instagram of Dark-Lordism is private, or not private, it's you know, hidden right now, right? So we're going to be going into all this. This could end up being a very, very long lecture. Hopefully it's not too long. We just started at the end of the witching hour. Strangely enough, it's about 4:30 right now. Yeah, so now this guy Taran Hicks was supposed to release a statement today. He said he was going to release a statement to the public, clearing everything up, but he never made that statement. So we're still waiting on a statement from him. He has released videos. I'm not going to play those videos. You know, and also I just want to shout out to all my ancestors and all, and shout out to the Most High, you know, for you know, protecting me, because you know, in this world you've got people like this trying to put roots on people, and you know, he's telling people he's like Candyman. We're gonna go through that, and you know, there's a lot of people. We've done lectures on people like Bro Yosef, who's been exploiting the conscious community, and you know, telling people he's like Constantine and stuff like that. So I just want to give a shout out to the ancestors and Most High, who protect me and who protect all seekers of positivity and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, so you know, any of threats coming from, you know, negative entities, you know, are always going to be repelled naturally. You know, these things, you know, tend to work themselves out. I believe in karma, and I believe that, you know, things generally work themselves out. Not always, you know, may happen 10 years later, may happen 20 years later. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, there's been a lot of, you know, predatory stuff happening in the conscious community, and you know, it's alleged. I've seen the criminal records. I believe S.L. Davis posted it, and the criminal records was alleging that this guy's wife, you know, has been arrested twice for prostitution. So this is all alleged, that we don't know. But it's said that this cult not only drinks blood and does, you know, a lot of wild rituals, that like sex rituals, that they also that he also might be pimping them as working women. You You know. Now, for the record, as far as that subject, you know, I think that I'm more on the side of unions and like as far as stuff like that, women protecting themselves and forming unions. Though, you know, I do believe that if you notice with the spread of the virus around the world, the virus was spreading in countries where working women are and working men too, I guess, are legal, right? Like if you look at all the countries that weren't spreading, like like in Africa, it wasn't spreading during the pandemic. You know, there was a high correlation between places where prostitution is legal and places where it's not. You know, I think a lot of Tinder stuff is spreading a lot of stuff. But, you know, with this cult, we don't know I don't know a lot about this cult because a lot of the pages have been blocked. I do have a friend on Facebook, shout out to Miss Neckbit, for putting me under the fact that, you know, she's been not a member, I don't know if she's not a member of their circle or their cult, but she's followed them. She's been a follower, I'd say. And you know, she didn't know the details of everything, but she just followed some of his posts and things like that, you know, not knowing the details of everything. And now all this is coming out. People are wondering what's, you know, about this. People are wondering about this cult. They got a lot of questions because with Nature Boy's cult, everything was always live on video. You know, this cult's a lot more secretive. And so we're going to read an interview by the leader and see what he is talking about. You know what I'm saying? So interview with occultist Taran Hicks on the Necronominon and the philosophy of Dark-Lordism. So this is the guy that created Dark-Lordism. So this is the meat and potatoes of this particular lecture. Because we're speaking about the allegations against him, but you know, they're all allegations, so he could be totally innocent or maybe not, you know. So let's see. It says Necronomicon alchemist and martial artist Taran Hicks is an emerging figure in the world. Taran is of the new few general and occultists in the postmodern era. This is what I was talking about, you know, people fusing different doctrines and things like that. You know, he's fusing a lot of different things. He has gained a strong reputation in the occult world for his practical approach. Best of all, Terrence, they spelled it wrong. Taran has reached an unprecedented level of success due to his no-nonsense approach to getting results through occult methods. Recently, I had the honor of communicating with Taran and discussing a few things about the Necronominon, occult world, and Dark-Lordism that I found very insightful. I think you will take delight in Taran Hicks' words of wisdom and practical insights. Now, just for the record, I'm, you know, pro people, you know, practicing religious practices that don't harm people, as long as they're not harming people, you know, or seeking to harm people. You know what I'm saying? But you know, as far as this so far, I do want to show y'all. We're gonna let's just finish reading this first, and we're gonna get to some other pages next. All right. So let's see. Oh yeah. So you know what? Let me show y'all this actually, because they're talking about this. It says he's helped people reach their own success. This is a testimonial. Let me see. Let me find this testimonial. Here's a testimonial. So he has a school called the Occult College, right? And we're doing this lecture too. We're covering cults and hip hop. And in this this series we're covering the Dark-Lordism cult. It says, if you're interested in money spells, legal spells, protection spells, lust spells, or Pambagira money spells, text. So I believe we're going to go into what Pambagira is. I believe the women in his cult call themselves like the Pambagira women, I believe, you know. But we'll go more to that. But this is a woman. I'm not going to play the video for copyright reasons, but I'm going to just read the transcript. It says, hello, peace and balance, everyone. This is the woman that's speaking in this video. I just want to share my testimony with working with the Dark Lord. But before we get started, my name is Chandelier. You may follow my Instagram at probably more like probably more like 6. Me and my husband, we had, let's see, so they cut something out. Her husband basically got incarcerated, and she used some of their spells, she says, to get him out. So it's like a commercial kind of for their spells. They sell the spells online, and we'll go into all that stuff later of the types of spells they're selling, and in the future we're going to cover New Life Tools selling spells as well. Selling spells on they're selling spells on like Etsy and their own websites and stuff. And that, to me personally, my personal opinion, that's kind of a scammy thing to do, to be like selling spells and selling roots to people online. So let's see. Me and my husband, we had fought the case. So her husband got arrested. It seems like YouTube is blocking it or something, the actual transcript. Me and my husband, we had fought the case. Did our little magic stuff in the background. So she was already doing her own magic, and it delayed it kind of. And we just had a few attempts after that. And the Coven is definitely spreading, or let's see, what does it say? The translation is not good. In the prisons and in the jails and stuff. So I reached out to a lawyer, and the lawyer told me it was about $5,000 to take my case. I believe she said he was going to get like 6 years. So he was facing 6 years. Thousands of dollars to take my case, and it wasn't even guaranteed. Like, he clearly said that this is like probably low risk, and the only thing that he could really argue as a possible underlying condition that my husband, had growing up or something like that. And this was still like probably not going to happen. I ended up talking to Taran a few times about my husband being in jail, and I ended up linking with him and the jurors to do a ritual, and it was very successful, just very successful. Like a week later, like not even a whole 7 days later after the ritual, I found out that he would be coming home in more like 2 years from a lot less time, because she was saying that it would be like 6 years than that. I was very shocked to even know that type of magic existed, to even battle with something as strong as systematic, oppression, and like the injustices, really like, and for people that don't like it when I say all the time, I'm working on that. I'm from Milwaukee originally, from Wisconsin, so we say a lot, just like Canadians or whatever. But this is actually in the actual transcript. So at times you know longer than they should be. But I digress. The second part of the ritual was the bag. I graduated back in 2017. I've been looking for work, and I've been finding jobs, but not going to stay somewhere that I'm not really happy at. And I kept bumping into that, and I kept getting low paying jobs with, I guess, me feeling like I was overqualified. So I kept quitting, and it'd just be easy to get a job, but I just couldn't find anything in my field or anything that I actually wanted to do. 2 weeks after the ritual, I was getting mad job offers, like a lot. Hospitals were reaching out to me, and ever since 2017, when I graduated, I kept applying at these hospitals, and I'd just be like, oh no. Like, I'd take the personality test, and I always fail it. I couldn't get an interview, and 2 weeks later, I'm getting calls from like local hospitals. I ended up not even choosing a hospital. I ended up going to a different career field, which is still in alignment with my experiences, education, and my resume as well. But the CEO of the company ended up interviewing me. But yeah, yada yada. This was a success story using his spells and stuff like that. Now, in the as far as Gerald Gardner, back to this guy, when performing spells, he said in his line of witchcraft, which is one of the foundations of modern witchcraft and modern Wicca and whatnot, he's saying that to perform magic, you got to be naked. Real magic, you have to be naked. And this cult is a sex cult, so I'm assuming that, but I don't know that. That's all alleged, that they may have be doing these rituals in the nude as well. But if you want to find out about Gerald Gardner, who's a kind of a nutcrack, you can research him, but yeah. So let me get out of this window. I don't want to talk about Gardner or any of those guys anymore, right? Now let's go back to this picture. So yeah, so Taijay Baker's mother accused this woman right here, and we're going to go into the videos of the mother's testimony. It's going to be a very long lecture. She accused this woman right here of luring her out to DC, and because the woman that was missing, Taijay Baker, who we just saw in this right here. Let me back up. Taijay Baker, right here. This is Taijay Baker. She's an artist, and she did some artwork for her. We're gonna go to her Instagram, but we're gonna finish this this interview first. All right. So, because we're not accusing him of anything, we're showing that Taijay's mother is accusing him and the woman in the picture of abducting her for a month, and they're saying that she left her spaced out and drugged in the back of a car. So when Taijay Baker was found, she was found. Somebody said they saw a drunk woman in the back seat of a car. But I believe her mom says they found her under like a underpass between some trees. So, but we're going to all those different testimonies because we're hearing different things from different people. And we're going to go to a Facebook page called Finding Taijay Baker, which they just changed the name because she's been found, obviously. But yeah, so let's keep reading this. Question 1, greetings, brother. It's great to hear from you once again. There's a lot of good news and good things that I see going on in your element. However, for some of our readers who may not be familiar with your work, please introduce yourself. Who is Taran Hicks? Taran Hicks, I'm a martial artist and occultist. As an occultist, I engage in everything on the occultist spectrum, Warlock Asylum. So he said everything on the spectrum. So that's why I was going into Blavatsky and Crowley and Gardner and all that type of stuff. So he's kind of taking everything, all these philosophies, and merging them together, And like I was saying before, I'm covering this from a historical perspective and a psychological perspective as far as cults and people following others like this, and people believing in the magic and stuff like that. How that affects people psychologically, right? Because some people are alleging that Taijay Baker is mentally ill, and she just went to DC on her own and had some type of mentally ill episode and was missing for a month. But she was only supposed to be there one day, so she didn't have provisions for a whole month. And people are wondering what happened. So the family is alleging one thing, and this cult is alleging something totally different. And we're going to go into the details of all that. So yeah, I engage in everything on the occult spectrum. Warlock Asylum says, how did you get involved in alchemical sciences and occultism? And he says, Taran Hicks says, I had a very strong foundation in martial arts starting from the age of 5. With that, I also wasn't plagued by the indoctrination of Western religion. This foundation allowed me to go more deeper into occult studies early in my life. But the thing is that Gardner is a Western religion, Gardnerism, Gardnerian Wicca. If you go to California, it's very popular, So he said this foundation allowed me to go more deeper into occult studies in my early life. So then the interviewer says, you're often associated with the term Dark-Lordism. Can you share with us the meaning of the term Dark-Lordism and some of the philosophy behind it? And Hicks says, there's a book called The Dark Lord by one of my favorite occultists, Peter Levenda, that inspired the name. Movies like Star Wars and Harry Potter influenced the name as well. The concept of the Dark Lord is really deep and occult when you really look at it. Dark-Lordism is a practitioner of magic. Notice he has the K in the end of magic. That's like the more Crowleyan version. You have a perceived villain who was a very good student at one point, and because of how occult he was, they were able to challenge the doctrine from which they learned. They weren't afraid to go deeper or desire more. That's what I teach. Right? So once again, we spoke on Rashad Jamal's cult and how they, mix cartoon stuff and anime stuff with reality, and mix in the 9 universes in Thor, saying that stuff is real, and that can be affect mentally ill people, and that can actually, just like we spoke about in the lecture on Bro Yosef, exploiting mentally ill people by telling them there's these demons in the mirror and stuff like that, and saying that only he can save their ancestors, from the other side. Bro Yosef is clearly exploiting mentally ill people, which are a large percentage of our population, and a lot of occultists can easily exploit mentally ill people, or people that aren't that smart. You know what I'm saying? Dark Lordism is a practitioner of magic. You have a perceived villain who was a very good student at one point, and because of how occult he was, they were able to challenge the doctrine from which they learned. So he's talking about, like, Star Wars, Darth Vader type of stuff, the dark side, right? It's amazing. So the interviewer says it's amazing to see some of the work you have put forth and the ways in which you have to continue to help others in both local and global communities. What are some of the ways in which Dark Lordism has helped those that have sought your advice or magical expertise? And Hicks says, I have a YouTube channel called Dark-Lordism, in which I teach authentic occult science that can be applied to daily life. My channel also ties to my Facebook group, where there's a community of individuals in different stages of learning. In my online group, they are able to converse and help one another as a collective. He might have changed the name to Occult University, Occult, right? The Occult, we just had it up. It was the Occult something. Occult College. Yeah, the Occult College. So it could be that he's changed the name of that, or Dark Lordism could be another page that I haven't seen yet. But we're not going to play any of his videos. And here's another example. I'm going to go back to here. So we did this working with Taran Hicks. I'm going to close that. I'm going to go to this right here, so you can see Kali Ma, the Dark Mother, the divine feminine energy, and you can see she's got the Baphomet star, upside down Baphomet star right there. And, this is what cats are talking about as far as, like, the new school so-called conscious community of people, mixing consciousness with, like in this t-shirt right here, Skull and Bones. That's why I was just showing you the Jay-Z t-shirt. Cats are just mixing up a lot of different doctrines and throwing it all in the soup. All right, so we're going into the, history of all these things, and looking at everything from an intellectual standpoint. Right, this is not a tea blog or anything like that. We're focusing on the science and history of all these things. Right, so we're gonna he has this thing called the Occult College, 42,000 subscribers. I'm gonna click on the page because we're not gonna listen to any. We're not gonna listen to any of it. Right, so this is the Occult College. This is his page. Let me see how many views. There's like about 7 million views. That's a lot of views. He's got some different. He's got a Patreon, Dark Lordism Patreon. They've got a lot of stuff. They're selling products. Let's see. He's got the social medium, but yeah, this Instagram that's Dark Lordism is definitely down. We'll go into that later. And there's this Patreon. Let's see if the Patreon is still there. Right, we're doing that exploration. Oh, and shout out to King World that's going live right now. All right, let's see. Yeah, shout out to King World. But yeah, so this is the Patreon. They got the Dark Lordism Patreon. So for $19.99 a month, you can join. Access to all meditations, exclusive content, including secret rituals, select membership level. So it says Dark Lordism is creating meditation music and exclusive content. Gold tier, $49 a month. Join, access all meditations plus monthly giveaways and access to street mantras. And Platinum, $100 a month. Access to all previous features plus money manifestation rituals and protection rituals. Also 75% of, ODA discounts. All right, so yeah, we saw that. Now let's go back to here, right? So remember, this is the guy, and this is his coven. And a lot of people, say Coven. Some people say Coven, but the actual pronunciation is right here. I'm gonna press it.
Coven.
Right, you hear that?
Coven.
You need to turn the volume up.
Coven.
Right, so that's the actual pronunciation, because a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's Coven. It's not Coven," but
Coven.
right. So that's the actual pronunciation. All right. So now his coven is, they call themselves like the, just like with Nature Boy, I guess they call themselves like Lion's Pride now or whatever, but or Three's Pride, I mean. But the Pambagira coven, we're gonna read. This is from a historical context. This is not their actual website. This is occultworld.com. I'm on right now. It says Pambagira, also known as Eshua, pronounced Eshua or Eshwa. Pambagira evokes powerful reactions. Some consider her a let's say in hip hop words, hoe, slut, prostitute, or devil woman. For others, she is the goddess of love, sex, success, and abundance. Pambagira is the Scarlet Woman, the sacred harlot, and the lady of crossroads and streetlights. An Afro-Brazilian spirit, Pambagira derives from the intersection of Iberian, Gitano, and Central African roots. Pambagira is a crossroad where these traditions meet. She is the goddess of power, eroticism, death, and vengeance. She has dominion over sex for pleasure and power, not protection. That said, she can bestow fertility when and if she desires. Pambagira is an oracular spirit who can reveal the past and future, but she can be brutally plain-spoken truth teller. Don't ask her for information unless you are ready to hear unvarnished truths. Pambagira's origins are mysterious. She is not worshipped in African traditions, only in Brazil. It is possible that devotees did not survive elsewhere. Pambagira is sometimes translated as whirling dove, which is not appropriate, as many Pambagiras love, or it could be Pambagiras, love to dance, but the name really derives from Kikongo, Mpamba, Nzila, or crossroad. Sometimes when people refer to Pambagira, they really mean Maria Padilha, or vice versa. The names are frequently used interchangeably, but there are many Pambagiras. These may be multiple paths of one goddess, or Pambagira may name an entire category of spirits. See also Zili, Mami Waters, Simbi. Maria Padilha, I guess, may be the queen Pambagira. It's possible that at least some of the other Pambagiras are vestiges of the fairy court of beautiful female spirits who serve as the entourage of Spain's Maria de Padilla. This may have accompanied their queen on her sea voyage to Brazil as she transformed into Maria Padilla. So they too transform into Pambagiras, right? The name Pambagira and Eshua are also sometimes used interchangeably, as Eshua Pambagira is identified as the wife of Eshu, the Brazilian path of Eshu Elegbara, right? And if we go to the actual Facebook of the leader, he has his Facebook on his this is all public information. We're gonna go to his Facebook. You can see right here it says this is his cover photo, but we're gonna go through the history of all this stuff too, because it says Candyman didn't F with nobody as long as you kept his name out your mouth. Let that sink in, right? So this is his response to Taijay Baker's mother's allegations, because his mother is saying that they tried to traffic her, and then they just left her, or something like that, left her in the middle of nowhere. And we're gonna be going over the press conference as well. So let's see. So he says, I got a story to tell you. I'll be telling the story on Monday. Stay tuned. But he never gave that story on Monday. And if you click on the DARK-LORDISM Instagram, right, we'll click on it right there. It says, sorry, this page isn't available. So if he's telling the truth, why did he close the page? Why is it not available if he is telling the truth, right? Why is the page hidden right now, right? You know, so that doesn't look good. But this is all alleged. None of this has been proven what his mom's allegations are. But his cult is a real cult, and that's what we're focusing on right now. All right. So let's close this window. The more windows I close, the faster we can get through this. I got a lot of windows open. All right. So this is the page Justice for Taijay Baker. They just changed the name to something else now, but you know, we'll go through the stuff in the page. But let me go back to the interview. All right. Now, so let's go back. So let's just go back to the top. So he said, it's amazing to see some of your work you've put forth. And he said, in what ways in which Dark-Lordism has helped those who have sought your advice or magical expertise? Hicks says, I have a YouTube channel called Dark-Lordism, which I teach authentic occult science that can be applied in day-to-day life. My channel also ties into my Facebook group, where there's a community of individuals in different stages of learning. In my online group, they are able to converse and help one another as a collective. In return for doing their homework, they see the results of the science being applied in their life. The interviewer says, there's a patches about you in the Buddhanomicon that describes some of the altruistic characteristics of your nature. I think that any mention of your work in media should stand as a historical reference for the future of our tradition and work with the Necronomicon. How would you describe your experience with Simon Tome? And for those that don't know, when he's talking about the Necronomicon, he's talking about this. The Necronomicon was pretty much created by Lovecraft right here, right? H.P. Lovecraft, and we're just going to read a little bit on it. So the Necronomicon, also referred to as the Book of the Dead, right? Copying the Egyptian Book of the Dead, right? But it's totally different. It's not the same thing. Or under purported original Arabic title, Kitab al-Azif, is a fictional grimoire textbook of magic, right? That's where the word grammar comes from, right? We've covered that in the past, grammar and grimoire. Appearance in stories by the horror writer H.P. Lovecraft and his followers. It was first mentioned in Lovecraft's 1924 short story, The Hound, written in 1922, though its purported author, the mad Arab Abdul al-Hazred, has been quoted a year earlier in Lovecraft's The Nameless City, among other things. The work contains an account of the old ones, their history, and the meaning for summoning them. Right, so these are like demons and things like that, right? So you know, people are turning fiction into practice and turning, you know, it's just like with L. Ron, you know, being a prolific author and writing fiction and then turning it into a real practice that, you know, and a lot of these people are trying to, you know, get their things turned to religion, just like Nature Boy is trying to get carbonation to be a real religion. Who knows, you know, if this cat, Taran Hicks, and his cult is trying to become a religion. So but yeah, so in fictional history, in 1927 Lovecraft wrote a brief pseudo history of the Necronomicon. It was published in 1938 after his death. History of the Necronomicon. According to his account, the book was originally called Al-Azif, an Arabic word that Lovecraft defined as the nocturnal sound made by insects, supposed to be howling of demons, drawing on a footnote. You know, we don't even need to finish all that. You know, just you guys can look all that up. All right, so I just wanted to put that out there. Got that page closed. All right, and we just did that. That's the Patreon. All right, we're gonna close that. This is all public information. This group is a private group, but you can join it. The Finding Justice for Taijay Baker. All right, so first I'd like to say that this is what Hicks said in reply to the guy asking about the Necronomicon stuff. First, he says, I would like to say that in working with the NEC or any high-level science, when done correctly, you take on an altruistic nature mentality. It's the essence of being able to push yourself inward and be productive in teaching or helping the collective that truly makes the system last and stands the test of time and generations. So he says, can you share with us an experience or two that you've had with Simon Necronomicon, which really, with Simon Necronomicon, which really turned out to be a life lesson. Taran Hicks says, definitely a lesson of learning the value of secrecy as someone initiated into this high-level science. You learn from these. So who initiated him? I'm not sure, right? Because, this stuff also overlaps with masonry and, pike and stuff like that, but we're not even going to get into all that. You learn from these entities that secrecy and clearance are extremely important. There are secrets I can never share with anyone, and at times they can be very lonely. I love to share knowledge and insight with people, so for me, that's a lesson in itself. The interviewer, Warlock Asylum, says, in what ways do you think that the Chaldean Gnosis could greatly assist melanated people to further their growth? He said, Chaldean mysticism eliminates dependency from the individuals that practice it. And the interviewer says, how has your work with Simon Necronomicon helped you in some of your life affairs and relationships with family and friends? Taran Hicks says, well, I say that there's a deep level of respect from family, friends, as well as other sorcerers. They can innately sense a depth in my energy in which they would like to inquire and learn about. The interviewer says, it certainly takes a degree of fearlessness for a man of color to step forward as an occultist. Oftentimes, you may find yourself being blocked in the same manner that white employees receiving discipline from a black supervisor at a job. Well, what are some of the challenges that you have to overcome in order to be a pillar in the Necronomicon tradition? Taran Hicks says, occultism in essence is melanated. The origins stem from the melanated culture and people. There are no challenges. And that's the thing about, a lot of the modern people that we've been talking about, the cults and the stuff like that, that's, intersecting with hip hop these days. A lot of them are mixing fact with fiction. So, just that's why I point out at the beginning of this lecture, it is a fact that, these traditions come from black culture, the original versions. I'm not talking about, once Gardner and, Crowley and Blavatsky and all these different generations of and even, the Egyptology craze, when they, in Europe, they were, we covered that in a previous lecture about the whole Egyptomania, I'm sorry, in the Krug lecture, we went into Egyptomania and, how they were eating, mummies and stuff like that. And, so they literally consumed black culture and then spit it back out in a whole different way. But, so a lot of these people will say some things that are real and some things that are historical, and then they'll add their own stuff in there, and they're, and all the while, just like with a lot of lodges, they'll be like, hey, we're all about altruism and helping the public. But, same with, I believe the Church of Satan and the satanic churches that have just been approved and have become real churches. So now some of these churches are real churches. So we're studying the history of all that, and and how that intersects with hip hop. So he said, what can we expect to hear of Taran Hicks in the future? He said, you can expect more of what I've been doing. He says, the interview says, how can our readers learn more about Dark-Lordism and the Necronomicon tradition from your vantage point of mentorship? Any final thoughts? He says, to learn more about Dark-Lordism, you can subscribe to my channel on YouTube under the name Dark-Lordism. So I guess the name's been changed to Occult College. I seldom take on new gate-walking students, although I have quite a few students. You can email him at that email. If the energy seems to fit, you meet all the vetting requirements, I may give you a shot. So Taijay Baker's mom is saying that they were grooming her for years, and then eventually, she went out there to see them, and that they tried to bring her in and or whatever, and Taran Hicks, this guy, is saying that she's lying. So it's basically Hicks versus the mom right now. And we're gonna go into a lot of information. I'm just hoping this isn't too long, this video, but it's gonna be a minute. So he says, thanks for sharing a glimpse of your many experiences with us. We wish you all the best in your earthly and spiritual endeavors. You know, and they're acting like all this stuff is happy, but you know, when people are talking about Necronomicon, they're talking about a lot of dark stuff. You know. And, you know, I've had experience dating witches in my life, bad witches. I'll say that, you know, I believe that there are ways that people can, you know, be positive and you know, as far as ancient traditions, I'm saying predating all the Western Wicca stuff, you know, there are ways to be, you know, one with nature and stuff like that without being negative. But, you know, I had one witch I dated was a sister. She was mixed, and she, you know, when we were starting to break up, you know, she got really violent. She's like, "I'm gonna break your laptop," and you know, and then this other witch I dated, I found this book. I don't know if it was a Necronomicon. I'm not sure what book it was, but I found this book she had. I was like, "Hey, what's this?" She was actually like Cuban. And she was like, "Oh no, it's just some, you know, book, you know, I bought in high school when I was like into The Craft, the movie and whatever." You know, and I was just like, "Oh, okay." And then, you know, maybe a year later I found out she had a sugar daddy, or maybe it wasn't even a year later. I don't know. She started smashing my homie Tess, that I've worked with in the past, Tess from Lex Records. I did an Ed Banger music video for him, a couple of them. You know, but yeah, he ended up smashing her like a month after me and her broke up. But you know, she got on some real dark stuff. She had a sugar daddy and was hiding a sugar daddy from me. He was paying all her bills and paying for her car. You know what I'm saying? That's DJ Lottie Dottie. But and then she ended up smashing my other homie, Cerebral Vortex, right? You know, so so I've, you know, dealt with this type of stuff in my own life, you know, where people are, you know, hiding stuff from you and trying to, you know, gain power and do all this stuff, you know, or whatever, put roots on you. But you know, all right, so yeah, let's get out of this section. So he says that you can go to youtube.com/darklordism. So we're gonna do that. youtube.com/darklordism. I'm gonna go to that, and is there an actual page of that, or did they change the name? So yeah, the page isn't available, or they changed the name, so that doesn't exist anymore. So we're gonna move on. All right, so in the next phase of this, we're gonna go to his actual page. We're gonna go to Taran Hicks. This is his actual page, right? He's like calling himself Candyman. But if you click on this, you see this is like him basically being like, you know, showing who he is you know, like maybe his favorite Orisha or whatever. You see his Eshu right there, you know, and you're going to see this. So I'm going to go back. All right, and we're going to just go through Eshu, right? So Eshu, or really, I guess this Eshua, maybe, or I don't know how you pronounce it exactly. It's in the Yoruba tradition. It's going to be maybe different from the Brazilian versus the, you know, Dominican versus the Puerto Rican way of saying it. But so is an Orisha of the I don't even know how to pronounce it. Let's just say religion of the Yoruba people. Eshu is prominent primordial divinity, a delegated deity who is descended from Ikol Arun and the chief enforcer of the natural divine laws. He is the deity in charge of law enforcement and orderliness. As the religion has spread around the world, the name of the Orisha has varied in different locations, but the beliefs remain similar. So I'm going to click on this. Let's see. Right, so let's click back. I'm going to read the rest of this. The other names of the Irun Mole called Eshua includes all these different names, a lot of different names, variations, right? But name and role. So Eshu particularly serves as an alternate name for Elegua, the messenger of all Orishas, and that there are 256 paths to Elegua. And notice how that kind of relates to, I'll show you the Yoruba, digital system, right? We have like 256 is a a number that fits into 32-bit, 16-bit, all these types of things. As far as digitization, and notice that Nigerians are very, very good at math. They've got that in their ancient culture. Each one of which is an issue. All right. But yeah, so I'm just gonna go forward. I was just showing you that. Let's see. Let's click on. Is there an issue over there? Let me see. All right, we don't have to harbor on this too long. We're gonna skip that. But yeah, with the name and role, so Eshu is always at the middle of divergent forces. He controls and regulates two extremes: the world of happiness, joy, and fulfillment, as well as the arena of destruction, hopelessness, and sorrow. Right? Eshu always demands from those who have to give to those. I'm sorry. He always demands from those, or not. But Eshu always demands from those who have to give to those demanded for it within the premises of sacrifices, rituals, and propitiation. He maintains the delicate balance of good and bad, just and unjust. He protects towns and villages, priests and priestesses, and devotees and awos against evil machinations. And he always favors those that perform the necessary and appropriate sacrifices. All right. So, we're going to move on, right? Since we're talking about the history of all this, as it relates to these modern issues in this current debate that's going on about what happened to Taijay Baker. All right. So we're going to close that window. All right. So now this is Sisters of the Underground. So that we're talking about this whole issue that's happening now. So the Sisters of the Underground, they were posting, they were saying that it was, they were accusing Taran Hicks. They were accusing him of doing these things, of trafficking Taijay, and this is their retraction of that, because he was telling people that anybody that's saying that we were really doing that, he's going to come for them legally. That's why it's important when talking about allegations to call it allegations. And both, right as it stands right now, both sides, it's allegations. So let's see, response official statement regarding the Taijay Baker and Sisters of the Underground. As advocates for sex trafficking victims, domestic violence victims, missing persons, Sisters of the Underground, SODU, and official members of SODU do not condone nor tolerate being misled by those that seek service from our organization. In the case of missing 23-year-old Taijay Baker, it appears as though her mother, Toquana Baker, has intentionally failed to release pertinent information and purposely reported misinformation in regard to the details surrounding her daughter's disappearance. Because there's videos of her mom showing a photo of them and saying, these are the people that took my daughter, even though she doesn't have proof of that. And now her daughter was just taken to the hospital after she was found. So, we don't have Taijay's actual statement yet about what happened. So everything is all allegations. So they're apologizing for going beyond that and saying that it was real. It says, we have confirmed that Taijay Baker has been located and is safe. We will not disclose specific details of newly found information that suggests there was abuse and mental health challenges in the home that suggests this was the cause of her disappearance. We, Sisters of the Underground, sincerely apologize to anyone that may have been offended and do not support victimizing or falsely accusing anyone. At this time, we cannot confirm nor deny what role Taran Hicks may have played in Taijay Baker's disappearance. Sincerely, National Chairwoman Lesidi Shakur, Sisters of the Underground. Right. So let's go to her Instagram. Well, first let's go to the Dark-Lordism Instagram. You can see, there is none, right? We just went to that before. All right. So I'm gonna close that window. Let me go to, all right, so this is Occult College, right? So this is another Instagram, right? You got to be a member, right? Now let's go away from this Egyptian connection and the ring. Let's go over to here. Let's close that window too. We're getting much closer now to the end of this, but we're still got a lot of research to do. Oh, I forgot to show this. This is a new finding. 9,000-year-old woman shared features with Cheddarman. You know, for those that don't know, this is Cheddarman right here. They try to, whitewash him for years. I'm going to click on Cheddarman, and it might show the original picture of how they tried to whitewash him, and then they changed the image. Maybe I'll just click on her image and it might show. Yeah, so like right here, this is the original Cheddarman image. I'm gonna click on this. So you see, I'll hit accept. So you see, this was the original image. This was like the whitewash version that they used to have of Cheddarman. But then when they used his DNA to really find what he looked like, they found he had blue eyes and he had dark skin. Right? They found out that he was a brother or whatever. So I was just talking about that as far as the history of Europe. Yeah, so they've proven that the modern European tribes came into Europe around 4,500 years ago. All right, great. Now we're gonna move on. All right, so we're gonna move on from that. So let's close that. All right. So let's go a little bit farther back. Now we're gonna go to this news story. I'm gonna play this. Now you can see the title says Brooklyn woman vanishes after traveling to Washington, D.C. So now we're going to get more into
Developing
details.
now at 5:30, a family's desperate search for answers in the disappearance of a young woman from Brooklyn who hasn't been seen in more than a month. Good evening, I'm Christine Johnson.
Welcome back. I'm Maurice Dubois. The mother of 23-year-old Taijay Baker says her daughter vanished after accepting a job offer online and traveling to another state.
Her mother has been looking for her ever since. CBS 2's Natalie Dudridge has the latest.
My baby is out there.
May 1st was the last time Taquana Baker says she saw her daughter, 23-year-old Taijay Baker, who she says took a bus from Wortman Avenue, where she lives, to Washington, D.C. for a weekend art job.
She just did a pop-up shop, an art pop-up shop. She's very humble. She's the sweetest person.
Her mother says Taijay is an art major in college. These drawings are from her Instagram page. She says she was asked to go to D.C. to design posters for a woman she met online. But after she boarded the bus, her mother says her daughter went silent.
For somebody to lure my daughter into another state, I have to deal with this, and this is going to affect my daughter's life forever.
Her mother filed a police report, and Crime Stoppers put out a request for information describing Taijay as 5'7", weighing 130 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. Taijay's mother decided to make her own posters, which she has been hanging up around the city as well as in the Washington, D.C. area.
I'm going through abandoned buildings, walking through alleyways.
Baker says she's been searching for her daughter herself and obtained surveillance video that she says is Taijay pacing in a nail salon in Maryland. But when she got there, she was gone.
We want someone to look at these cameras and get to the bottom of where she went.
Taijay's story caught the attention of local council members who say they want to improve how missing persons cases.
So supposedly, when she was at the nail salon in that video footage, Taijay called her grandma and said, "Please have mom pick me up." And then they never heard from her again. But we'll hear more about that.
Are handled.
On a missing persons bill, they don't register black people as quickly as they do white people. So when a white person's missing, the whole world stops. When black people are missing, oh, she'll be calling back because she might be out partying.
Baker says her daughter was in a good physical and mental state and usually calls and texts her every day and has never disappeared before. In New Lots, Brooklyn, Natalie Dudridge, CBS 2 News.
And Baker says she is headed back to the D.C. area to continue looking for her daughter.
Right, so I'm going to click back, and you can see, let me see, this is CBS News. There's just mad stories on this. That was CBS. We'll click on ABC. We'll keep it limited, but you see there's mad articles on the subject. So people have been looking for a long time, but she was just found, but the news still hasn't announced.
First tonight at 11, a young woman from Brooklyn vanished.
Her family with few clues aside from a cryptic phone call.
And now they want answers. Here's Eyewitness News reporter Lucy Yang.
Taijay Baker, a budding artist, was in her final semester of college. The 23-year-old lived at home with her mother, but now is missing.
After this rally, I'm going right back out there because I'm going to find my daughter.
The nightmare began on May 1st. Taijay took the bus to D.C., supposedly to do some posters for a woman she had met online. Then the nightmare of silence.
Where's my daughter? She got off at the Capitol Union Station, D.C.
The desperate family filed numerous police reports, but complained the first official flyer put their missing person on a wanted poster.
What do you want? Justice! When do you want it? Now!
Eventually, the mother found some leads and surveillance video, which she shared with us. On June 1st, we're told Taijay called from a phone in this salon and in a whispered and scared voice, begged to be rescued.
She said, just tell her mother to come get her.
By the time they raced to Maryland, Taijay was gone. The mother tells me she has tracked down the woman who initially asked her daughter to D.C. She fears her only child may have stepped into some kind of cult.
So that woman in the picture, she is part of the Dark-Lordism cult. And, you know, the cult leader, Taran Hicks, is saying he's going to sue maybe, I don't know, the family or whatever, whoever got them on the news like that, you know, saying that, that it's ruining his image. So these are all allegations right now. He's saying one thing, the mother's saying the other thing.
We believe that more needs to be.
And as well as the woman that they're just showing, I believe, let's go to Pencil Queen. So this is one of their symbols, one of their sigils, right? It's not really a Vive, but let's jump out of here. At first, I'm going to read this. So this is one of the symbols of the cult, and that they used. And I'm going to read this. So Pencil Queen, she says, this is Taijay's actual Instagram. She says, my shamanic healing ceremony with Kali Ma was eye-opening. It connected me more with my true self, the dark, the light, and my shadows. It opened me up to the truth and stepping more into myself. Before my ceremony, things of the past crowded my head and heart. Khaleesi helped me clear that away. After my heart felt light, I felt in renewal. It was transformative and healing. Since then, it has been easier to be me. I left with new perspectives, ideals, and with stronger boundaries that I set for myself. The guidance and healing that comes from this goddess is one that I've never encountered before, and it's sacred. I know for sure I wouldn't have had this experience with no one else if not her. Much love to you, Infinite Energy. Right, Pencil Queen. Right, and if you, let's say if we click on Infinite Energy, what happens? Sorry, this page isn't available. So they're blocking a lot of their accounts. And it's like, why is that if they have nothing to hide? This image right here, this goddess ish, you see, I had to post this one because it's so cute. Thank you, Holistic Goddess Saya, for trusting me with your logo design. So she did this logo for a woman. I'm going to go to where the actual logo is. So the mother is accusing this woman right here. That's what she was accusing her in the news, Kali Cosmos, right? She's accusing her of being the one that she met in D.C. to, lure her into the cult. The mom's accusing her. So this is all alleged stuff, but notice that they were working together to see the Goddess Saya Holistic Services products. This is that same picture that Taijay drew, right? So that's what, her mom was thinking that, she met up with her because they've had a rapport for a couple of years, as it shows on Instagram or whatever, in their community, right? And people have said that, not only Taran Hicks has gotten on the page justice for Taijay Baker, but people are saying some of his other members are going. So it's all these allegations. The mother is saying that they had I believe a fake cousin, you know. So the mother's presenting allegations, and then the Taran and his cult are disputing the allegations and saying that they're going to sue the mother and everybody for publishing these fake news stories. So we're going to go back to where we just were. We're going to press play.
Done.
We here asking for justice. Justice to make sure Miss Baker come home.
No, I haven't been sleeping at all. It's been over a month and 5 days now. I just want my daughter to return.
A mother's fearful cry.
All right, so we're going to click back. So yeah, so the mother is pointing the fingers at the cult, and the cult saying, no, it wasn't us. You know, your daughter's dealing with mental illness. Right, but we're going to go to different testimonials and things like that. Let's see. So yeah, you can see there's just a bunch of different news stories on the subject. Right, so let's go to Fox. So we did CBS, ABC. Let's do Fox. See if there's an actual video.
Pros knows that your hair is unique to you. I love my blow dryer, but worry about heat damage. Pros looks at a
Search is on for a missing woman from Brooklyn, and the reason the focus is here is because police believe she might be here in the D.C. area. She left New York City on May 1st.
Jacqueline Matter is here following the latest developments for us from our newsroom. Jacqueline? Jim Sharin, Taijay Baker took a bus from New York City to D.C. back in May for a weekend art show. Her mother, Taquana Baker, said she hasn't come back. Taijay was supposed to be in town to design posters for a woman that she told family she met online, but once she got on that bus out of town, her mom says she went silent. Taquana got to work filing a police report, hanging up missing persons flyers, and searching for her 23-year-old daughter.
I'm going through abandoned buildings, walking through alleyways. She just did a pop-up shop, an art pop-up shop. She's very humble. She's the sweetest person.
Taquana says she was able to get surveillance video of Taijay at a nail salon here in Maryland. Taijay's grandmother also says that she made a phone call from that salon on June 1st, telling her mother to come get her now, but they have not heard from her since that phone call was made. Taquana says Taijay typically calls and texts her every day, whether she's home or not. The NYPD now asking anyone with information to call their tip line. Back to you.
All right, so let's go back. So we did Fox, and maybe we'll stop at NBC. Let's see. Yeah, so you know, there's no
Pros knows that your hair is unique to
the about her being found. Let's see. So we did ABC. Yeah, let's click on this one. I don't think we clicked on this one. So New York woman 23 missing for more than a month. Let's turn this volume on.
New York woman may lie right here in the Brooklyn, New York woman. The key to solving the mysterious disappearance of a 23-year-old Brooklyn, New York woman may lie right here in the D.C. area. The family of Taijay Baker is frantic after having not heard from her since May 1st. That's the day the art student boarded a bus to come to D.C. News 4's Jackie Benson tells us Greenbelt, Maryland is where her mother came very close to finding her last week.
23-year-old Taijay Baker is 5 feet 7 inches tall, 130 pounds, with a confident smile. The Brooklyn, New York art student took a bus to D.C. on May 1st for what she described as a one-day job making posters for a woman she met online. That is also when her daily contact with her family and friends stopped. D.C. police posted this tweet that contains her picture and other details, as well as information on how to contact the NYPD detective handling the missing persons case. These posters were put up at a shopping center in Prince George's County, Maryland, 2 weeks ago by Taijay's mother. News reports in New York say she received a call from her daughter asking her to pick her up at this nail salon in a strip shopping center on Greenbelt Road. But by the time she drove down from New York, Taijay was gone. The salon manager provided her mother with security video of a woman in the store who appeared to be her daughter. The search for the 23-year-old is drawing national attention and is the subject of numerous social media posts, including this one by the Maryland-based Black and Missing Foundation. There is a very strong possibility that Baker could still be in the D.C. area. In Greenbelt, Jackie Benson, News 4.
All right, so we're done with the news section of that. And yeah, I was seeing if Tropicana had covered this. If you're seeking more on history of, Santeria and things like that, and as it relates to different countries and practices, King Brujo's an expert on that. But let me close that window. Let me see. So yeah, and here's also a list of Yoruba deities, right? See a list right here for people that want more info and all that. But yeah, so back to this cult. They're mixing a lot of things together, and once again, this is all alleged. What her mom is saying, and we're going to go into the details of that. So we're at finding since justice for Taijay Baker, since it's been changed from finding. I wonder if in these old things have it still. Let's see. No, that's still, they all say justice. All right, so I'm going to refresh this one, and we're going to start from the top. All right, we're going to go to the discussion. Let's see. Discussion. See all. All right, so let me find the actual stream. All right, there we go. So it says, we're going to read these. Let's see, not most relevant. We're going to do new posts. Show recent posts first. All right. So we're going to read these posts. I can't speak for other people, but most discussion groups don't even allow family members, as it's an open discussion and people share their theories and opinions. With that being said, it's an objective environment for all. Doesn't mean anyone agrees or disagrees with those opinions. I don't know everything that went on in private messages, but as far as I know, the only people that aren't allowed in are removed are those being disrespectful or starting unnecessarily drama within the group. I was under the impression that it was a group to help and discuss the case and not a support group. Families are always encouraged to join support groups and strongly discouraged in case discussion groups. This whole thing has been weird and confusing, and I'm all over it. Thanks. Now, maybe I should just go to the beginning of all this, because it makes more sense to do it a little bit more chronologically. And we're going to get into the press thing right here. This is part of the meat and potatoes too. So there is a video of she's still in the hospital, but they're explaining what happens, and they're talking to a reporter. And the video, I believe, just came out. Let's jump to that video right here.
The village is a really strong saying, but this time that saying that it takes a village is a really strong saying, but this time you feel like the village failed you and your daughter. You found her over the weekend on your own after searching for almost 2 months, a month and a half, right? Mm-hmm. Tell me what that was like.
Well, when I first saw her, I knew it was her, but she didn't know it was me, and I screamed her name, and she did like this, like she couldn't believe it, and then I hugged her, and I just told her to get in the car, and then we just took off to go home.
Where did you find her finally? Was she just walking on the street? Was she in the woods? Because you were looking everywhere.
She was hiding in and out, like, ever since she was seen and made that phone call for help. She was hiding, like, literally on the streets from whoever had her captive. And when I found her, she was like, like between like a tree and like a overpass where there's a lot of trees, and like there's a bus stop there.
And that's important because you'll see in the threads people are saying she was found in a car drunk, which is opposite of what the mom's saying right now.
And she was seen like at different bus stops, so that's how it made it obvious to me that she's getting around through the bus. So I checked all buses. So I finally checked this bus that morning and had a tip from a transit worker out there. I think it's Metro Tech that's out there in Maryland. I had a tip for one of their workers, and she helped me, and I found my daughter. And just kept looking around the same area that she told me, and I found her.
So, Taran, what was that like when you thought you saw Taijay And I mean, you've been going for days and days and days. When you thought that you saw Taijay, what did you do?
I just ran up to my daughter and gave her a hug. Then she didn't even have to say nothing, and I didn't even want to talk. I just wanted to get her to safety.
And what did she say?
She was like, Mom. She just kept saying, Mom, it's okay, it's okay. Because I was crying and so she was like, it's okay.
I can't imagine. I mean, I know what you went through. We went through that with you. I know that pain, that agony, that fear. Is she okay?
Well, she's quite shooken up. She's fearful.
So notice her mom was saying the people that had her, you know, so her mom is still saying that the cult had her, and the cult's saying that the mom is lying. So they're both saying that, so these are both allegations, they're both saying that each other are lying.
You know, giving me indications of a victim of when they've been through trauma or anything happened to them. So I don't want to, you know, put her out there. I want to, you know, it remain with the family so I can take time to work with my daughter and see her through this time.
Is she able to at least open up to you yet, or is she kind of just staying to herself and sleeping? And, you know, when you go through trauma, you can act different ways.
Even if she's not ready, I'm going to make her ready. I talk to her every day so she can become active in certain stuff. And we just keep talking, even if she don't want to.
So right now she's in the hospital, and that, you know, when people are missing persons, a lot of times they go to the hospital right after so they can get the right checkups, and, you know, whether it's rape kits or whether it's, you know, mental diagnosis or whatever, you know, we don't know what happened.
Come out and say what it is, you know, because she's not all the way saying what it is, and she's very scared, like I said, and shooken up. So I don't want to scare her off or nothing like.
All right, yeah. So my internet crashed for a second, but we're back. But before we get into the actual thread and all the blog stuff, I want to tie everything else up first and close up all these other windows before I get to just all the allegations on both sides going back and forth that happened on this thread that's called Finding Taijay Baker, which is now, I believe, Justice for Taijay Baker. But I'm going to click on the Dark-Lordism magazine so we can get back to the Dark-Lordism stuff. Because, you know, there's allegations going both ways. So I'm going to click View Profile. So they didn't take this down, Dark-Lordism magazine. You know, they took down these other pages that we were going to with the links. And, yeah, you can see that, you know, they're a company and they're selling, you know, different products and things like that. I believe, you know, this is back to Taijay's page. You know, she was, you know, into the actual cult, right? So let's click on Pencil Queen. You know, we know that she was friends with at least one of them, but we don't know how far. And, you know, the allegations that the cult kidnapped the person are just allegations, and nothing has been confirmed. But you can see the type of, you know, art that she was doing and things like that. But let's see. So let's go to the next thing. All right, I believe it's this right here. No, we did that already. Let's close that window. I believe, let's just go to this right here. We're going to go to the Dark-Lordism magazine again. So let's go back to the magazine. All right, so here's the Dark-Lordism magazine. Let me see. Yeah, so in this Dark-Lordism magazine, right, it's like you see the adventures in sex magic, like I was saying before. We'll just kind of read through some of the stuff. What's motivating you here and now? Because it's the only thing that matters. Continue to win. If you're winning, keep moving forward and give it all you got. F them. They need to talk about you to get your attention, because if they spoke about themselves, no one would give an F. Be you. The world will adjust. And with that whole be you thing, you know, that sounds like a good thing, but, you know, it kind of goes with that doing, you know, living your best life and stuff. But doing you can also be construed as do what thou wilt, you know, like the whole Crowley quote that Jay-Z was wearing, we showed earlier in his shirt. And do what thou wilt and just do you, be you, kind of doesn't express, compassion for others, because, something that can make one person happy could make other people unhappy, right? Like maybe Putin's happy right now and he's doing him, and he's letting the world adjust, right? All right, so look at you glowing with self-love and becoming a magnet to good vibrations. I'm proud of you, So, they're pushing these positive quotes on this page, but, the pages that they are hiding, we don't know what's on there. But, you can see this is the actual, the magazine, Dark-Lordism magazine, right? So let's just scroll down here, right? But it's also to, note that if this is a sex ritual thing, why do they have, babies on here and stuff like that? I don't like the mixing of the two, right? When you're just been reincarnated for the fourth time and you wake up to another broke family in the hood instead of a rich family in the burbs. But there was another thing with the baby that was weird on one of their sites. But, oh yeah, so look, so, they have this, if you mean R. Kelly want to meet me, right? And that's a joke, but it's a joke sexualizing a baby, right? And I disagree with that. But you see how everybody's, pushing crystals now. It's a big thing. We'll talk about crystals in future lectures as far as the science of them and things like that. But let's keep scrolling down. So yeah, this is, just a view of the type, they're kind of on a goth, kind of Hotep Centuria kind of goth kind of tip. So let's see. Dark-Lordism, October 2017, Marie Laveau, Voodoo Queen of New Orleans, So they're selling books, Dark-Lordism magazine, books and whatnot. They're doing a lot of stuff, right? So you can see this is what Dark-Lordism is about. One aspect of it, they and as we saw in his Occult College page, it's a lot of Eastern stuff, a lot of Eastern philosophy stuff, right? A lot of Kali stuff, ripping off heads and whatnot. Yeah, so you can see this is Dark-Lordism magazine. So they say he's a millionaire, and he's doing really well financially. And this is just a very interesting subject as far as it relates to hip-hop psychology, hip-hop culture, hip-hop politics, hip-hop current events, because even the art of the young lady, Tijae, that went missing, it points to, a lot of, maybe hip-hop art from 90s Atlanta art, like even Outkast kind of art, shout out to Andre 3000's art, that type of stuff, but yeah, notice here there's a lot of baby stuff and reincarnation. When you commit suicide to escape a miserable suffering life on earth and get reincarnated 30 seconds later. So once again they're joking about the S word and stuff like that, and that's sometimes people that are mentally ill can see stuff like that and think it's cool to do the S word because, they'll just get reincarnated right away, and they can just change up their life or something, So yeah, that's why I was just touching on this page, and this is their modest stuff, obviously, if they're hiding the Instagram. Facebook tends to be more conservative than Instagram. But yeah, these are just things that they're posting, and so we're gonna skip ahead now. All right, we're gonna get out of this section. So we did Dark-Lordism magazine. Now we're just gonna read Dark Lord in general, what the lore means. Dark Lords. This is the evil wiki. Like I was saying in the last lecture, sometimes I have to research things that are things that I don't like researching, but this is one of those subjects when we're having to talk about like Crowley and people like that. So everything, because he did in some of his books is just heinous things I don't even want to mention in Crowley books. So everything will continue to be as fine as you remember who's the boss and who's got the power. All right. So Dark Lords are sometimes known as evil overlords and dark overlords. And they're this is not from the Dark-Lordism site. This is just the evil wiki talking about Dark Lords. And, Taran Hicks was also saying how he uses the whole spectrum of occult studies in his doctrine, as well as fictional doctrines such as Star Wars and things like that. So, and this is going to go into that a little bit. So the fictional elements and the historical elements. So Dark Lords are also sometimes known as evil overlords and dark overlords, and they are a powerfully popular theme of evildoers who are each a villain or an antagonist of near omnipotence, with evil henchmen within his or her realm who seeks to utterly dominate the world. He or she is often depicted as a diabolical force and may indeed be more a force than a personality, and often personifies evil itself. The effects of his or her rule often assert malign effects on the land as well as his subjects. Besides her or his usual magic ability, she or he often controls great armies. In particular, it is used as a moniker in universes where it is thought that pronouncing the villain's real name will bring bad luck or represents a negative omen, such as a villain usually seeks to rule or destroy the universe around them. While most Dark Lords are male, except in parody, there are Dark Lords whom happen to be female, which made them better known as Dark Ladies. It's the popular opposite of Light Lords. It's the polar opposite of Light Lords. The term Dark Lord has appeared in religious contexts where it refers to Satan or the devil or other similar malevolent entities who hold powers over fiendish creatures and seek to disturb comfort and the lives of people. In fantasy literature, the Dark Lord term has become something else of a cliche, stemming from the success of J.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. The main antagonist of the book, Sauron, right? We know the Eye of Sauron was often referred as the Dark Lord. On occasion, so just like we saw with Rashad Jamal, incorporating Thor stuff into his doctrine, we see this cat Hicks is incorporating, Tolkien into his doctrine, right? On occasion, the people of Gondor in the Middle Earth refer to Sauron as the enemy or the nameless enemy, in spite of knowing his true name, arguably stating that the practice of avoiding pronouncing a Dark Lord's actual name, the reason behind it, and that's why, he was calling himself Candyman, right? We just saw that where he's like, he's the Candyman, right? You see that right there, he says, right? And these are his replies to the stuff, and, he says, I got a story to tell. I'll be telling you the story on Monday, right? We saw that he never told that story, right? And, so we're going to move on from this. But yeah, you see, I got a bunch of mutual friends, right? So it's a very small world. And, these allegations are going both ways. So we'll see how all these allegations actually turn out. So I'm going to close his page. Trying to close up these windows so we can get through this. That was Dark-Lordism magazine. We did that. We'll get to that in a second. This justice for Taijay Baker. And we did this testimonial, right, of this woman. We're going to close that. Let's see. But yeah, this is, his website. You can see it's a lot of stuff that's based on, occult stuff. Mostly Eastern stuff. You can see, just like Blavatsky, using the Eastern symbols, the Om symbol, and mixing it with the Ankh, and mixing it, people are doing a lot of mixing these days based on the Madame Blavatsky and the Euro Western modern occult stuff, right? So this is what, Dark-Lordism, the pages he is basically, giving lectures on different subjects. And this is similar Bro Yusuf. You don't see the diagrams. You don't see them, it's got interesting thumbnails, right? But you don't see the actual diagrams. It's not like you know, a lot of these new age Hotep people are just kind of spitting stuff without any research materials, without, you know, citing sources, just like, you know, their own meditations or their own, you know, beliefs. They can just pull stuff out of the blue, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, people talking about shadow work and this type of stuff like that, right? You know, just like you can have a light worker, you can have a shadow worker, right? And he's dropped a lot of videos you can see over the years. He's a very prolific YouTuber, but he's been under the radar this whole time. And what's interesting is that he's actually still monetized, because most of the time when you know, Bro Yosef, I believe, is still monetized too, but you know, when somebody has a Dark-Lordism cult, you know, and they're talking about it, stuff as fact, you know, YouTube and some people can, and sometimes look at that as like Alex Jones territory, right? But you know, haven't listened to any of his lectures, and I'm not going to be listening to his lectures. And we're not going to play them, you know, for copyright reasons, but we're just showing that there's allegations on both sides, right? So we don't know what happened. All right, so I'm going to close this window. All right, let's go to the next. All right, so yeah, so we just covered the Dark-Lordism thing. And now let's go back to this. Now this should work now. I think we're at 3 minutes, 18 seconds.
You know, that saying that it takes a village is a really strong saying, but, you know, this time you feel
like, you know, so she won't be able to talk. So I let her do it at her pace, her time.
You were certain from the beginning that this was not something your daughter would ever do on her own.
Yeah, I believe from day one. And it was like nobody believed me. My mother and them knew what it was, but everybody else, it's like nobody believed me.
And let me go back to this. I forgot to cover, this is one of the women that she says that she was showing on that news clip, and saying that it was her and Taran that abducted her daughter. And, you know, this woman and Taran will both see them in the comments saying that, you know, it's not true, the mother's capping, you know. Yeah, you can see right here, it says, what's she saying? Let's see, it says, make way for me or stay out of my way. I'm coming in with hot power of all, I'm coming in hot with the power of all aspects of self. I am Kali Ma Titi Gira Mahavita Kali Nityas. But yeah, that's what, you know, they're pushing. That's what she's pushing. And you can see she's like sitting here in the middle of the forest in the middle of the night, you know, with the circle, doing some type of ceremony, or just, you know, who knows what she's doing. But yeah, so that's one of the women that that her mom is alleging, you know, told her to come out to DC, right? So we're gonna close that window. We're gonna close most of these windows, right? Dark-Lordism's hidden. So let's go back to where we just were, the mom's video.
The cops didn't even really care about the fact. They like I said, they diverted me for a whole 2 weeks. Oh, she's probably with a boyfriend. Oh, she's 23. We can't stop her and hold her hostage because she's 23. And I'm like, well, my daughter wouldn't be in a park drinking a milkshake. You're not going to find her like that. And everything I said was true. If I wouldn't have stuck to my guns and did what I had to do and what I knew was right, she would not be found to this day. If I went off of, you know, what the cops was doing, or if I left it in their hands, I couldn't leave my daughter's life in their hands. I had to be wherever she was at, that's where I had.
And at 23, because, you know, they do say, like, at 23, they have a mind of their own, and you have to back off as a mom. But as a mom, you knew.
I knew, and back off as a mom. My daughter used to call me the warden. Back up. I should have still been on her at 23, but you know, 23, you let them go where they want to go, try to do, because she picking up her little art business and trying to venture off and do what's right for her. But if I would have knew anything like this was close, she wouldn't have got on that bus. She was no way. But you know, 23, you can't tell them what not to do because they'll go do it anyway. But yeah.
Do you? I know you must be really angry at whoever did this. Is there any doubt in your mind that this was intentional? They were trying to take your daughter?
Yeah, this was a whole setup from the beginning. This was a whole setup. I knew that. My daughter just didn't know that. They played her, they lured her, and they sent her to the wolves. They stripped her, everything, and they sent her to the wolves. And there was no help for her.
Well, who is they? Is this some organized underground crime ring?
Well, it's under an investigation, so I don't really want to put that out there. And
because, you know, on the news she was saying that it was specifically these people, the Kali Ma that I just showed you, and Taran Hicks. She was saying specifically it was them on the news, right? She was saying it was her, and she had the pictures of him and her on the news, you know. So now she's retracting that before the investigation. You know, and saying that it was this woman, Kali Ma, and Taran Hicks. But, so now she's retracted that. But yeah, I wanted to show you, this is, you go to Infinite Energy. This is, her YouTube was disabled. But, I mean, not her YouTube, her Instagram was disabled, but, you know, her Squarespace is not disabled. So it says Infinite Energy. It says more login. Your body is the kingdom to the world team. And right when we saw that this was drawn by that, this whole symbol right here was drawn by Taijay Baker, right? We saw it on her Instagram, or she just uploaded it, but it looks like it's her art style. And I was going to show y'all related to the history of hip hop art, actually, with this right here. But let's read this first. So Taran Hicks, this is him coming at the mother with her allegations. So he says, peace to all members in this group. Taijay Baker's family members need to be held accountable for bringing on an unnecessary search party, actually finding Taijay Baker and not reporting it. If they do not apologize, I will hold them legally and spiritually accountable. I am happy to find this dear sister was found alive, but now we want answers. Thank you all for your help, energy, and support to help find her. Those that slandered me knowingly, I promise to cause you all unimaginable spiritual turmoil. This will be a multitude of videos coming with receipts of the family's deceit and their lives. So he was supposed to drop a video on Monday, June 27th, but now it's early morning Tuesday, June 28th, and there's still no video, right? Because if you click on his page, we don't see a video. And we see a bunch of things that have been blocked, actually. Like he dropped all those, or I guess this is the group post. These are the things that he said in the group. But I'll read some of these too, because this is him alleging stuff. You know, so they're both pointing fingers in this situation. So let me see what it was that I just read before. So yeah, it said peace to all. All right, so this, I'm going to read this. He said earlier on June 25th, Taijay Baker's family owes everyone an apology. They had your emotions and even got you all to help out in the search for a woman who wasn't abducted or kidnapped or trafficked, but someone who suffers from mental illness. Taijay Baker's mom did not inform the public that her daughter suffers from mental illness. Taijay Baker's mom also did not tell the public that she has been very abusive to Taijay Baker since childhood. And how does he know all this, right? How does he know this? Because these are all allegations as well, on both sides. We are all happy. We all happy that Taijay Baker was found safe, but the family whom put everyone in on the search is despicable because they don't even have the decency to inform the public that Taijay Baker was found safe. If you want confirmation that Taijay Baker was found safe, please call the number on the flyer connected to the New York City Police Department. They will confirm that Taijay was found safe and the case is now closed. Also, you can call Detective Stephen at 929-354-8, This is sad because the family used y'all's emotions and resources to find Taijay, and they are all quiet now. Shaking my head. Right, and we'll leave this one at the top. This is the Facebook page of Taijay's mom. This is Aids in the video of her stating that her daughter was seen walking around by herself and with bags coming from Target. She'd been seen spotted by herself is actual proof that she was never trafficked. If you know anything about human trafficking, you will know traffickers don't allow people they hold captive to go anywhere by themselves. Also, Taijay Baker was spotted numerous times by herself. If she felt that she was in an imminent danger, she would have easily ran to the police or anyone who would be able to help her to safety. This is not the only video I have proof of and evidence of what I'm saying, that the mom in this video is very rude and disrespectful. Also, I have evidence that she was very disrespectful to her daughter. Her attitude is disgusting, and she allowed you all to search for her, but is radio silent when they discovered the fact that Taijay was found. She played you all, and I'm on her rear. My entire team is on her right now. She will not get away with this slander that could have caused my community great harm. So when he says his entire team, he's talking about this team right here, I guess, or more. Or who knows, there could be dudes involved in it too. Yeah, I'm not sure. All right, so let's go back. But yeah, he released this video. I'm not going to play that video. But in the video is basically him saying the same thing, like, you know, that they're innocent and that the mom's capping, right? Because we saw the mom on the news with their pictures, right? All right. So let's go back to where we were. Let's see. Is this the one? Okay, this is where we were. So we're going to continue to play this.
Well, as me and my daughter still have to live out here, and, you know, we don't want to become a target of anything. I just want, you know, now that my daughter is home, it's certain things that needs to be in place and certain things that need to be done. And I think these people that didn't reach out to help when they should have helped, I think they should help now.
You're talking about the police. You're talking about
police, all officials, DC officials, Maryland officials, anybody who turned their back on me that could have offered help, like the 2 cops that rolled their window up at Prince County Police. They could have helped me. They could have further assist. Like Nikki Lucas, she could have helped me, but she didn't. She, even when it was knowledgeable to her office that my child was missing, because she's in our community and she was voted in 3 blocks down from me. And I went to this lady a couple of times and she did not help. And this is what we put people in council office for, to help the community. So if I'm reaching out for help, you would think at some point in time she would have reached out and said, I'm sorry, or anything, is anything our office? No, she did not. You know who did? Another council member outside of the office, outside of our district, Miss Neely. I didn't stop there in our community. I went to other communities to seek help. Wherever I could seek help or my voice to get heard, like what you missed.
Thank you.
This is what I did, and that person did not help me, and I do take blame because we voted her in.
I want to definitely get to you, Councilwoman Ely, but I want to just make sure Taijay is okay. Did she need medical attention or anything? Is she medically going to be okay?
Yeah, we're going to seek different things, and we're seeking different things for her. Like I said, me and the councilwoman. And my mom.
And the congressman.
Yeah, and
Mr. Barron.
Mr. Barron. We're going to seek that she get the help she needs. And, you know, this is a healing process.
Good. If I could turn to you for a minute, should I move the mic to the councilwoman? Or if you think you'll... Can you move closer?
But yeah, as far as these allegations, you know, the cult is saying that she's mentally ill, and then... you know, her mom is saying that the cult abducted her, or now she's saying that she was abducted, but she's not going to say who it was until the investigation is complete. Now, the thing is that, you know, somebody could be mentally ill and be trafficked. You know, obviously it's probably easier to traffic a mentally ill person than not mentally ill. So them pointing at her and saying she's mentally ill and she made all this up, or her mom made all this up, you know, we don't know either way. But it does look kind of shady for them to be blocking their page as far as, you know, not letting people see the Dark-Lordism pages, right? Except the magazine. All right. But yeah, so these are, you know, they're pointing fingers on both sides. It's interesting that you know, they used in the Dark-Lordism pages, we saw that a prominent color was red and black and white, kind of like the goth colors You know, those are kind of like the unofficial Gothic colors. And these are all red, black, and white colors too. It's kind of interesting in this press release.
Just that way you both can pick up. It's good. Okay. Yes.
But like if you go to Hot Topic at the mall, I don't even know if they have Hot Topic anymore. You know, a lot of the colors are red, black, and white. That's like the official goth colors.
You're recording. The mic is okay. I'm fine.
I just want to make sure we can hear you. How did you end up getting involved in this case, and why?
It wasn't a matter of why. It's my job. When people come into our office, when I campaign, I said I want to give constituents more than what they ever expected. And once people come through our door, we try to serve everyone. But it's a protocol we have to take. I said, at least let us talk to your elected official. But day one, I just started working on it.
All right, so we're going to flip to another testimony on here. So we're just going to be showing a lot of different opposing views and things like that. So I believe Ariel D. Smith might have actually made this thing. This is a long thing from her mother from earlier when she was accusing them. We're not going to play that. You can possibly find that on your own. But yeah, this is Kali Ma that we said. This is her denying the stuff. I, Kali Ma, TTM, relieved to deliver and receive the news that Taijay is alive and unharmed. I truly hope that she gets the help that she deserves. I would like to make a video explaining my role in all of this soon. So she says she has a role in all of this, but we don't know what that role is. Yeah, so the creator of this page, or the admin, says, Ariel D. Smith says, man, this is not even right. She was found and is very devastated behind this. People said, I'm glad she's home. But we're going to, let me play this one clip from this one guy, if I can see it. Not that clip. It should be a new clip. It's very recent, but I'm not seeing it. But I'm just going to keep searching. Let's see. I don't know if I saved the video clip. But it's a video clip from a family member, another family member, not her mom. But yeah, this is like people at the protest, justice for Taijay. I mean, this is when she was still missing.
My daughter's a good daughter. Right. She's broke.
Because her lack of concern for the situation, she has no compassion. The day that she's messed up. She's 23 out, and she's out there by herself.
Right. So let me find this thing. I'm going to try to find this guy's thing so that he has a lot of information on this, you know. And this all just really happened very, very recently, but I think it was at the top of the page. I'm going to go up higher. I feel like this guy's video. Yeah, I think it's maybe this video. Let's see if we can see that again. It's not that video. Pretty sure it's this guy's video that we just clicked on and that it was blank. So it might be gone now. But yeah, there's a lot of information on here. If you want more information, you could definitely join this Facebook group to see what people are talking about. But yeah, let me see. Maybe I saved it on something else. Let me see. Did I save it here? No, I don't think I saved it there. But let's play this one right here. Oh, so this is the mom dissing the guy, the leader of the cult. This is the man who called my phone when my daughter... so this is Quana Bakes. This is the man who called my phone when my daughter first got abducted, saying his sis won't be a suspect now. He's reaching out, acting like he's a family member of Taijay, reaching out to schoolmates, people in my family, trying to get, this is all alleged, trying to get information, what's going on, trying to request people my daughter went to school with, people that think he's affiliated with my daughter. He's the head man in charge, so he can be, so be careful for requests from this man. He's not a family member. He's attached to the situation that my daughter is in. He's he's aware because he's involved in my daughter's whereabouts. He made the phone call trying to clear it up. That's my daughter, never made it. Then tried to say he don't even know the girl who my daughter had wanted to see about this job opportunity. But yeah, him and the girls sitting at a table together. Yeah, so, these are all allegations. That's the mom making allegations against him. Let's see. Now, let's go to another section, because I'm sure I can find that one section that I was just looking for with this one guy. Right, and there's a lot of comments in this. Like, it's just mad comments. We'll play this.
I'm from Jamaica. I used to live in Far Rock when I was younger. Skylar, I'm from Jamaica. I used to live in Far Rock when I was younger on Gateway. I got hit by a car. What's that, 750 Gateway? I heard it's Crip now. Anyway, I'm way older than you. Taijay Baker, you left the comment, or I think you liked the post by Kollege. She has 3 pages. She goes by Kollege, my TT or whatever. Her real name is Taijay Baker. Leave these people alone, Scholar. They recruiting for some kind of a cult. All these pictures is just the tip of the iceberg. Me and Tawana's friend, we've been working this shit last night. Shorty that you liked, the walls is closing in. She's in B-Mall. You know what I mean? So, yo, Scholar, some crazy stuff out here. And it looked like they recruit girls between 19 and like 25. And this guy that you see, he might be Taran Hicks. He might be Taran Hicks' cousin, shorty from Belly, Keisha. Yo, this shit is deep, man. He might be. There's a strong possibility. So, but anyway, I got to take this call. I think this is what's her name? Tawana, Scholar's mother's friend. She just called me before I gave you all this information. Keep it between me and you.
All right. So, yeah. So let's play this. This is Taran Hicks on a fake page. So this is all allegations. So this person named MH Jada posted this. This is Taran Hicks on a fake page texting Taijay Baker's old friends, pretending to be a family member of the Baker family, trying to get info on where Taijay was after she ran away from him and Tatiana Davis. If he has nothing to do with it, like he says, and also a main suspect, why is he reaching out to anyone about Taijay? Also lying, saying he's a family friend and that he spoke to Taijay's mother. People need to stop getting sidetracked. Everything that the family has put out has been factual. So, these are both allegations on both sides. So this person's saying that person's not who he says he is. Yeah, so, we already went over this with all of Taran Hicks' comments. But somebody says, I just feel like Taran and Kollege should be removed from this group. They're getting too much access info about her, and it's not sitting right with me. People are like, totally agree, say it loud. It's they group. I never knew about this. I don't Facebook, Instagram, none of it. I did it for Taijay. More or less, Kollege, the witch, just made that page that she's posting from now. This is a whole clown, I swear. Let's see. Quantum Baker says they still see what you're saying, so to keep them in this group is, the math, not mathing. And let's see what people responded to with Taran Hicks' comments. She's a nasty woman. So this is, Hicks' counter allegations, and this is people's responses to it, saying that the mother is lying. She's a nasty woman and she will pay dearly for her lies. That's what he said. just sound concerned that they didn't know she was missing after they reported her missing. I see nothing wrong with the police statement. I would be pissed myself, but everything else, we are all on the outside looking in. But if she has a mental issue, she is not in her right state of mind, and she does not know what is going on with herself and is afraid she may or may not know how her mother would react. That's why it took long for that, and by the police put her on a wanted poster. She probably thought she was under arrest and did not reach out. And she's a very young girl, and I do not know what she is going through, but I'm sure she did not cause her own mental issues. It could have been there before or could have started, but the question will remain, why did she leave and when those issues started? Nobody could be mad at this mom for being angry or concerned at all. So we are angry at her for making up a story for something that never occurred. Sue is a liar. F her, and I will take care of her in the most intense of ways legally. So that's Taran Hicks saying that he's going to sue the mom for going on the news and showing pictures of him and Kollege. So somebody said, Miriam says, Taran Hicks, you're right. And why did you contact, let's see who loved that. Oh, he loved that. Why did you contact her mom? You put yourself in this. You should tell the truth. The one with the lies is you. So that's somebody said that, Nikki Justice. And she said, remember, he worships the devil. He will say anything. He has magically removed himself and his antics with harassing the mom. This proves it. The same way he's trying to use this video against the moms, the same way they use your Dark Lord videos against you. Let's see. Quantum Bakes updated pro. This guy's so weird. I swear, this was June 15th. I would have never had your number if you didn't call me. You reached out to me talking about this woman that lowered my daughter is your sister. Now you're acting like a reporter and reaching out to Taijay's schoolmates, acting as if he just got off the phone with me. He keeps making himself relevant. Who keeps reaching to this person who child is missing, saying it was a prank, then threatening and using different pages and keep seeking me out, or family and Taijay's friends? Taran Hicks, people are unto you. Stop calling me. I never knew who you were. You keep trying to get at me and making yourself a factor. This the number Taran Hicks called me from. Right. So she says this operates as a sex cult, Palmagira. The cult members partake in sex with animals. I guess that's sodomy, something, blood drinking. Taran is a 32nd degree Freemason and an inactive member of Warren Lodge number 32 in Schultzville, New York, and a loyal member and pillar of the Necronomicon Empire. So these are all allegations, obviously. We don't know any of these things. Taran also been employed with the district attorney's office in Brooklyn back in 2012, 2014, right? And this is somebody saying he was an FBI agent. So now this is, getting a lot of out there allegations. You know what I'm saying? But let's see. Let's go back to this right here. Maybe. All right, I'm going to edit this out. Yep, edit that out. All right. Edit this out. 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 All right. Okay. So, edit this out. Edit this out. All right, edit this out. Edit this out. We don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need that. All right, we're back. So now we're back. Now we're gonna finish this. So somebody said, Nikki Justice said, why did you contact your mom? You put yourself in this, We just read all that. It's extremely off that you blocked your page, but now want to use this group to smear the family. You definitely participate in the activities they said you do. You have classes on it and are now acting like someone did something to you. This woman is in pain about her daughter, and you can find time to make this about you is despicable. Amber Press says, look, this looks like a sexy cult to me. And when she started getting hot, as her mom made the news, she was probably let go because I watched the footage in the nail salon. She looked very in shock and troubled. So, people are alleging that she went there to join the cult, and then they didn't want her in it, and they left her be after her having disappeared her for a month, right? These are all allegations, so Hicks is firing back, and the mother is firing back at him. So they're going back and forth, and she's saying it's still being investigated. So we don't know what's really happening, right? Now, so we just covered that one. It says, I'm so confused on this. I'm just glad she's home safe. Thank you. So we already read those. Let's look at the comments in response to Taran Hicks, saying that the mom is creating false allegations. Somebody says, oh, wow, at least she is home safe. And then he says, yeah, at least she is safe. I'm not sure that she wants to be home around that crazy lying family. Like, he's going hard as far as denouncing the family because they put him on the news. Taran Hicks, I wonder why, sis, they lie. This is why it takes so long for these young ladies to be found. Just tell all that is going on so people can assist accordingly. Why do you block your page? Nikki Justice says. He says, what? He's talking about, I guess she's talking about the Dark-Lordism pages. I'm not sure. I'm not trusting anything I'm hearing. I've been waiting for law enforcement to speak. So yeah, he was speaking on the mom. He did this video where he was speaking about the mom. He was speaking about the mom being a liar. And so these are other people responding. So somebody says, yes, this is really crazy. I'm glad she was found. I'm sorry this happened to you, sir. This is crazy. They made me feel like she was never missing. Somebody said, okay. Somebody said, this group is not made by nobody in her family. He's doing this. We from BK. You F with the wrong people. And then Taran Hicks says, Vivian Warren, I'm from BK2, East New York. My goons is real out here. And then for those that know, goons can be referred to as like people that could jump you too. But it could just be homies and family, but goons has more of a kind of criminal connotation, like threatening. Like he's got goons that can touch people in New York, or whatever. But she said, excuse you, but I made this group and you're causing drama. This group was made because the family asked for the public help. And then somebody said, exactly, shaking my head. Thank you for sharing this. I truly apologize. Taijay needs to explain what's really going on. So Ariel is saying she needs to apologize because I guess Taran was coming from her. Now somebody says MF going down, and Hicks says yeah, and then Ariel says we got you, and I will spread the awareness. That's sick. Wow, this is crazy. Somebody said wow, this is crazy. Vivian Warren's like, he is full of ish. I'm Taijay godmother. This man is not scaring nobody. He's calling from fake numbers. You going down, she'll be the last samurai. And then Hicks says, give your receipts because I got mine. Spoke to the detective. She has been found alive and safe. Y'all are a weird family. Don't even have the decency to tell the public whom you asked for help that she has been found safe. And then he says that whole family is silly. Something wrong with y'all. And then she got away. No giving you nothing. So yeah. So we're going with that now. So people say I'm pissed like hell. Y'all MFs are going down. Y'all B words hurt Taijay. And let's see what people say, what they say. Somebody said, what? Huh? What happened to her? Oh my God. What? She's hurt? So what happened? When people are connected, you can't trust anyone. They're saying a lot without saying anything. What the heck? It's happening. What happened? Somebody said. All right, at this point, I'm drained. This is my last phone call. I'm really drained from all of this emotionally. So she said, where is she? A detective literally 5 minutes ago said she is still missing. Where did you hear that? She said, what detective told you she was still missing? Call this number and ask for Michelle. I just got off the phone with him. She is still missing. But we know she was found. So is that her family? This is the correct phone number that I called, and they're saying this is the wrong number. Do you mind joining my live? Where did this detective come from? Where did he come from? Because I'm lost. This is before the press thing came out, right? So it's a detective number, right? People talking about it. I just called the office number. And the office told me the missing person returned home. At first, I was saying her name is Taijay Baker, but she's actually Toquana Taijay Baker. So that's, I guess her middle name is Taijay Baker. I mean, Taijay. Yeah, so this is further back when people were, they were still trying to find her. But I'm trying to find this quote by this guy. All this earlier stuff is just more and more of the allegations. So I made my 17-year-old daughter stop following both of them. She started following DARK-LORDISM because Vicky Dillard teamed up with him. She came and showed me pictures of women drinking blood, and I noticed how Vicky started dressing more sexual. I told my daughter it was nothing spiritual about these folks. I'm so glad she listened. My daughter ran to me and showed me pictures that are circulating around the internet, and she said, "Mom, that's the DARK-LORDISM. He has something to do with the missing lady." Right, so we're going to click on that. And these are all allegations, once again. But this is him speaking, right? Wearing some Muslim stuff this time. Let's see. The Vicky tour in ATL. All right. So those are some photos they posted. Somebody said, "I'm really shocked. I'm so glad your baby has the discernment because nowadays our kids are being easily influenced. I have to constantly pray over my 14-year-old to stay covered. This is the human trafficking sexual cult. Watch your loved ones." Right. So these are all allegations. People going back and forth in this thread. Now please stop harassing me. How much confirmation do y'all need? Yeah, hey, sorry, we had a shooting and got tied up. This is a detective talking to her, and they said she was found, right? And people are like, "Girl, F them. Don't give them not one more ounce of energy. Doesn't make sense. Anyone in that professional capacity would not tell you they were tied up at a shooting." You definitely think not, but I see so many things now these days that I would have never expected a professional to do involving texting and social media. Not saying this is valid or invalid, just generally speaking. Those are good points. Taijay was found as confirmed and is in the hospital, but what I really want to know is what happened to her. So she's still in the hospital now, right? And you can see there was just a lot of debates going on, and I guess the followers aren't in these ones. But let's see, Stephanie Medina Morales. Let's see. So let's see what this person wrote. These are all just different allegations. People are making back and forth in this thread. So justice for Portia. When will the truth come out about Portia's identical twin sister? Set her up to be murdered by my family. The man in this clip, Taran Hicks, DARK-LORDISM, has been stalking, gaslighting, harassing, and threatening me since February 2017 after I discovered he was hired to kill me by my father and grandfather since I discovered my sister's murder. He calls me numerous times a day, threatening my life. Here's a collage of Natasha's Madame in the GTA replacement since her twin sister's murder. I'm protected with the truth. We have to stop being quiet and afraid and hold people accountable. So that's, even more of a serious allegation than even the mom was making. She's saying even more stuff. Let's see. This is at the top. The murder's caller was worried about the third edition report that the Hamilton police, 2017, the police responded to her father has murdered her sister. The man is hiding her body under his stairs. The test came back. The police advised, for the sister, the police advised that the mother something in the beliefs. The belief noted that these beliefs, these mother has been keeping. All right, so that's not a full thing. We can't see this. But yeah, when will the truth be revealed that my sister Portia Simone Thomas was found dead with 30 other bodies on our father's staircase? I filed a missing persons report in regards to my sister, who I haven't seen in 3.5 years. On November 15, 2017, the police closed the case the next day with no answers if my sister is dead or alive. My Masonic family attempted to silence me by getting Children's Aid Society involved. I filed complaints against CAS and the police. Why are they saying I never reported my sister missing? Why is our aunt, who's involved in a murder plot against me, saying that the police never searched my father's home? Peel police. All right, so these are really outlandish things, but you know, these are all allegations. All right, and we already covered this. He's saying peace to everybody and saying it's fake. The allegations are fake. I will not stop until they are held accountable. Now it's my turn to turn up. He still hasn't spoken yet. He made that one video. So Stephanie Medina Morales posted this in this clip. December 17th, one of Taran Hicks' many wives, Candace Smith, the Dark Lady, threatens to cut my throat on behalf of her man who was hired to kill me last year and now to keep me quiet about my sister's murder. Candace Smith has 6 children, 4 in another state in foster care, and the other 2 are in their father's custody due to Taran Hicks abusing them sexually. So these are all a lot of allegations, right? A lot of allegations. But you can see, y'all can see the parallels with the Nature Boy stuff. But we don't know if this is true or not because none of this stuff was on video, unlike Nature Boy, who filmed everything. So, you know, there's just 2 different sides pointing fingers. But there's multiple sides pointing multiple fingers, actually, because there's the mom pointing fingers at him, and now there's this woman pointing fingers at him. But who knows if she's, you know, just somebody making stuff up. I want to know, where did the people in the salon say she went? We already went over that in those videos, but she's already been found. Yeah, so just looking for some more. Yeah, that was a video from when they were looking for her. So Ariel Smith, a person that's been running this group, says, this is what Taijay's friend wrote me on Instagram. This is the one that has been saying Taijay has been found. It's hard to speak with her because she is so rude and disrespectful. Please share this. Is sick to me. Seems like she don't want us helping to find Taijay. We not stupid. Somebody says, who are you? She was found, you clout chasing demon. So yeah, like, why would somebody post that if they're really her friend? I did find a post that Taijay's mom shared that the girl Sky wrote about Taran. Maybe she is a friend of the friend, maybe not, but it's weird for her to say Taijay is found, but where's the proof? Yeah, all right. So yeah, there's a lot of allegations. People are looking at this. She said, why would she be saying all of this? What did she know about this cult? So we'll click on that. It says, when you come into the land that the Lord your God is giving you, you shall not learn to follow the abominable practices of those nations. There shall not be found among you anyone who burns his son or his daughter as an offering, anyone who practices divination or tells fortunes or interprets omens, or a sorcerer or a charmer or a medium or a necromancer, or one who inquires of the dead. For whoever does these things is an abomination to the Lord, and because these abominations of the Lord your God is driving them out before you. So I guess that's a quote from the Bible. And so somebody wrote this on her page. It says, oh, that's her 77. You was playing in the devil's territory. I pray God brings you back and covers you in his blood. But if Jesus says you must turn from this wickedness and worshiping of false gods and idols, praying for you, God bless. So that's like a Christian person coming for her. Let's see. Now, let's go back. All right, so there's just extensive stuff in here. Let's see. So yeah, she was found, but what is this? I'm not sure what that is. We're gonna keep going, keep scrolling down. So this is one of those allegations. Ariel Smith posted this, and she says, well, to let everybody know, Taran Hicks is not his real name. He changed the spelling up so you couldn't find nothing on him. And then his wife, she has 2 working girl conviction, solicitation crimes against nature. What are y'all really promoting? So I guess this is what S.L. Davis had posted. Prostitution, a second conviction, disposition not provided by the source, but it doesn't say the name there. We don't see a name, so that could have just been pulled, so that's all hearsay. There's no name showing who the person is, right? Taijay Baker, found out, let's see, no. Yeah, so let's see, well, this is from the protest. I'm trying to find this one. It was one of the relatives. It's a very recent one. This lady Instagram page is Fluid Life Global, has a Maryland location. She is part of the Dark-Lordism cult. Taijay called her family from a Maryland nail salon. So somebody was trying to help, so-called, And yeah, that's him, and these are some of the members. So he's got European members too, the people of the European diaspora. It's not just a black cult. So he's got all different types of witches. So Fluid Life Global, I'm so grateful for the love and discipline I see and experience in each of these genuine spirits. New moon, right? See, Taran Hicks, why did you change your Instagram name from this to this? So it was Taran Hicks, Dark-Lordism, to Taran Hicks, Mystery, Mr. Royal Bloodline, right? So yeah, and we've seen that he's been, he removed the Dark-Lordism page, right? But let's see. So we can see that this is actually a real cult, and these are really people in it. But it's all allegations, whether they had something to do with the girl's disappearance. And people are saying that she was returned not the same too. I'm looking for the video that says that when Taijay returned, and she was in the hospital, that something happened to her. So Flu Global Life says, the faces I make when spirits pull up on me out of nowhere and they let me know that they like it here with me. How can I help you and you help me, boo? I love this lifetime. Never a dull moment. All right. So, let's see. So yeah, these are a lot of serious allegations that they're making. Let me click on this. Shine brightly from within, luminary beings like fireflies in the night will guide you to what's right. Safe journey. So these are all, things that people are posting on the page. Let's see. How do I see all the photos? I was trying to go through all the photos. I don't see the little move to the side picture. But yeah, so these are just stuff about the missing stuff. And yeah, we got through most of the allegations and stuff. This is Tatiana's Instagram. She deleted her page. She hit the name. We are the Coven practicing ancient rites, the Coven of Giras or Hiras. And yeah, we can see that, this is part of it right here. And, we can see them encircled here, and they got their red robes on, the color magic. But people are alleging that they're not only involved in sex cults, but they're involved in much more. But we have no proof of that outside of what's on these websites, as far as their own websites, like the Dark-Lordism magazine and the page where we were just looking at the Infinite Energy page. And let's go back to that, because I actually want to go back to that. I'm going to go to more. So it says what we do. I'm going to click on what we do. So this is the Kali woman that the mom was accusing. Since 2016, we have put forth the effort to heal and protect. We provide a number of different services. You can't see it all. So nature is out here for our use and aid. The biggest organ in our body is our skin. Let us help you balance and restore your body by first changing what we put on our scalp and skin. All salves that we have can be used from head to toe, yes, all over your body, and they have multiple benefits. We aim to heal all ailments from asthma to depression. All ingredients are grown and are natural. We prepare our products by hand and test them personally. All right, so we're going to go through some of that. Let's see, hair and skin. Right, they've got hair and skin products, right? Bath tea, you know, some general products and stuff like that. But we're going to get to Majestic services. So Majestic services, you can see there's different types here. You see there's oils. Well, I'm going to click all so you see all the pictures, right? So you see there's the Coochie Elixir, right? Adult, P-word mug, protection candles, healing ceremony, shedding ritual, faded oil. He's got the devil horns. Royal meat oil, serpent's blood oil, Eshu Ray oil, prosperous business ritual, Pambagira money ritual, Maria Padilla money ritual, money incense, Kundalini capsules, Godly King's oil, love rituals, enchantress oils, right? Money oil, and I haven't done the rollovers to all these things, so I'll do some of the rollovers just to see what kind of other stuff's on it, right? So yeah, we're gonna keep going through some of these. Money oil, come to me oil, triple threat oil, love, I seen oil, protection ritual, P-word juice, creative juices oil, detox tea, and tummy settler tea. And who knows if this one right here is real? Like if it's just they use the tea as like, you know, something to mix it with, right? So we can see this, and this is what people have been talking about, you know, the conscious community being able to go in any direction, you know, because if you just say anything goes, then, you know, people are going to incorporate into do all different types of practices. And let me go back here. All right, so we did all those, the magic services. So let's see, infinity jewels. So they have all different types of, not a lot, just some different amulets and stuff. The Ronin, Maha Mali Kali set, University Gaia, parent-child bracelets, tranquility bracelets, siren bracelets, Gira waist beads, mala beads. All right, let's go to energy merch. All right, so they got their merch, right? That symbol that we saw before. I believe that was drawn by the young lady that was missing. Right, we saw that on her Instagram. We go to Pencil Queen, and you can see this image right here. It looks like her style of drawing, right? So this was the woman that was just found. This is Tijae Baker's Instagram, right? And yeah, her mom said she was in her last, you know, year of art school, but you can see she's, you know, on some gothic stuff. You know, Corpse Bride, and, you know, just kind of very morose kind of content, but, you know, within the kind of fairy mode. But I wanted to show you all this. I wanted to show you all one of my favorite artists, Mode 2, because her drawings kind of remind me, you know, it's a very hip hop drawing, but this is one of my favorite French artists, Mode 2. I'm gonna go to like some of his characters, like for instance, maybe you can see this. This is like a Mode 2 drawing. Let me click on that. Maybe, oh, let's not do that. Let's go back. How do I click out of here? Get out of this index and just go to some Mode 2 stuff. Let me go to like, maybe just zoom in. But yeah, Mode 2 is one of my favorite graph artists, but you can see you know, he's been doing this stuff since definitely the 90s, maybe the 80s too, but he's definitely been, you know, drawing since the 90s. And, you know, hip hop art is a art form that's been around, you know, a lot of time, whether it's Cheech Wizards or different things like that. You know, people have been drawing in these styles for a long time, And obviously it's influenced by cartoon art, but hip hop cartoon art has its own kind of style, like I'm showing here. This is more his newer stuff where he's doing more fine art stuff. But if I can show you some of his older stuff, like this right here, Mode 2. So this is like one of Mode 2's characters, and you might see a lot of people use today drawing like this style, like drawing hip hop characters, and he was getting his characters from the New York people, because he's out of Paris. But early on, he was doing this a long time. When I was in high school in the 90s, I was really really into Mode 2's characters, right? You can see he's a really really amazing artist, right? So here's some more of his characters, and things like that, right? So you got Mode 2. Even if I type Cheech Wizard, look up Cheech Wizard, and if you go to the work of Von Bode right here, you see the Cheech Wizards are also part of that style, because he would, in his magazines, he was doing stuff like this. This is a 3D representation of some of his drawings, but the Cheech Wizards were just one character, but he was one of the probably heaviest influences on hip-hop drawing. And you can see right here that the styles of the shoes being bigger and things like that were heavily influenced hip-hop in general. And he drew a lot of women and stuff like that. And some people even say he's on that R. Kelly tip. But I don't know. I haven't researched that. Yeah, so, he's a very, very classic artist. Very, very classic artist. And, he had a very, very big influence in hip-hop culture, right? In early hip-hop culture, right? And you can see DJ Qbert wearing one of his shirts, right? Cheech Wizard. You'll even hear, like we see Os Gimios, the twins, they're influenced by him. Everybody's in hip hop is, artists. The visual artists are heavily influenced by Vaughn's work. Right. So yeah, let's skip out of this now. Let's get out of here. We're gonna close this Cheech Wizard window. We're back at the store, right? Now let's go down to reviews. Somebody said the products are amazing. I received nothing but peaceful, blissful healing from the use of my candle, cream, and bodily butter from the moment I began the contact. Not only have began to become better spiritually, but I've begun to receive blessings in all other areas I've struggled with. So I just want to say thank you, and you've earned a long life customer. Every time I dab a little of my come to me oil and go outside, someone gives me money or pays my food. It literally never fails. Right. So it says she's a certified authentic psychic medium. I've been spiritually connected to her forever, but physically connected to her for about 3 going on 4 years now. I don't get readings or spiritual guidance from just anyone because some people's egos are bigger than their messages, but she has assisted me with a lot of my spiritual growth. I've received more than just... So this sounds a lot like what Taijay was saying, that she was assisted by her. I've received more than just readings from her, actual guidance, teachings, magic oils, and pure love and support. She is such a beautiful spirit, and she's on to a bigger and better things. I felt it was my duty to tell you all. I've never gone to her surface level for surface level readings. She knows my big spiritual secrets, and she has assisted in reintroducing me to my true form and higher self. And the last one, so looky here, boom. Kali Ma TT really outdid themselves on this one, or 2, or 3. I don't even know, because they just keep coming. All vibrational matches. If you're going to get this particular service, be prepared to do your inner work. Maybe your intentions are sincere and do what they tell you to do, cause baby. All right, so we're out of that. We see that drawing again. And let's go to the Red Realm. We haven't been there yet, so I'm not sure what that's about. So you can book an appointment, right? In the Red Realm, it says Join Kali Ma Titi Gira in the orthodox ways of healing. These techniques are empowering, liberating, can lead to prosperity. Allow this deviant healer to take you on a trip to the realm of Pambagira. Right? So meditation, sound wave healing, 2 hours for $250. Right? We don't know what that is. It's twice a week guidance, 2 hours for $800. This is a guidance program that will allow you access to High Priestess Kali for our 2 days or two of the week for 3 weeks. I guess for 2 hours a day for 3 weeks, 1 month. This should be paid in full before services begin. Once a week counseling, 2 hours for $400. This is a guidance program that will allow you access to the High Priestess. So he keeps saying access to her. You know, that could be code for what people were alluding to before, but these are all allegations. We don't know what they're really doing. To the High Priestess Kali for an hour a day for a week of the week, 1 day a week for 3 weeks. This should be paid in full before the services begin. Kundalini consultation. This is 30 minutes. This is a reading to determine if you should experience Kundalini capsules at this time in your journey. This substance is an entity in itself altogether and should be approached with care. Tantric massage, $100. Tantric cleansing, right? And we know, for those that don't know, tantric is a sexual thing, so it's like sexual massage. Tantric cleaning, we don't know what that is. 3 hours for cleaning you tantrically, and electric bliss, $160, right? Yeah, and you know, people are accusing them of being working women and stuff like that. You know, this cult and whatnot. But we know this is a real cult, and we know that they practice the full spectrum. You know, which includes Satanism as far as, you know, Crowleyan witchcraft and whatnot. But yeah, we're about to wrap things up. And let me just see if I can find. So we see that the Taran Baker. Let's click on the Instagram, I believe is a symbol for Instagram, right? The page is not available. Why not? Why is the page not available? We just clicked on it, you know? If they're dealing in the truth, why are things being hidden, you know? So yeah, this has been a very long investigation. We're, you know, like this is a current events issue dealing with, you know, hip hop culture, right? And notice he has the similar headdress as Bambaataa, you know, because you can buy that at like a novelty store. I believe they had the Pharaoh, like maybe skeleton novelty outfit or whatever. Yeah, so let me let's keep it moving. All right. Now, yeah, so we see there's a lot of stuff in these pictures here. A lot of you know, allegations and things that we already covered. I don't think we've covered this. So Fluid Life Global, this is our first graduating class of Occult College, HOC, Dark-Lordism, Meditation Certified, right? So he actually has certificates. So these are people that graduated, you know. Let's keep going through. All right, we already read this. So this weekend's going to change lives. We already went through her stuff. We went through that. Right, so let's just keep it moving. Let's see. So let's just keep it moving. Right, so these are different pics that we've pretty much already reviewed. So yeah, this was one of the missing posters when she was missing. But yeah, we already covered all of that stuff. All right. Okay, so I think we're pretty much done. That was the past.
And thank you for being here with us at 6. I'm Lorenzo Hall. Right now, police are asking for your help finding a missing 23-year-old woman. Taijay Baker has been missing for more than a month. She left her home in Brooklyn, New York, and came to D.C. for a weekend job. Her mother says she hadn't heard from Taijay until this week. As Rafael Sanchez Cruz reports, she received a cryptic call from her daughter in Maryland.
Taijay Baker was last seen on June 1st at this strip mall in Lanham, Maryland. That's 1 month after she left her home in Brooklyn for what was supposed to be a short trip to D.C. Taquana Baker says the surveillance video from June 1st is the last reported sighting of her 23-year-old daughter, Taijay Baker. The woman in the footage is seen pacing inside a nail salon. The mother telling CBS 2 in New York that the Brooklyn college student allegedly took a bus to Washington, D.C. the weekend of May 1st to design posters for a woman she had met online.
She's very humble. She's the sweetest person.
But Taquana says she stopped hearing from her daughter, who reportedly was seen at Union Station. A month after the young woman left her home, her mother says she receives a call from Taijay asking for help from inside this nail shop in Lanham, Maryland. But upon her arrival, the student was nowhere to be found.
For somebody to lure my daughter into another state, I have to deal with this, and this is going to affect my daughter's life forever.
WUSA 9 spoke to an employee of the business in the 9900 block of Greenbelt Road, confirming this video obtained by Taquana. The same employee saying that the young lady has not returned, but that he hopes she's found. Flyers with Baker's photo and information are posted at almost every shop of the commercial space.
I'm going through abandoned buildings, walking through alleyways.
Taquana has started her own search in the DMV region. Meanwhile, NYPD confirming they continue an active investigation. DC Metro Police.
Yeah, she's been found.
Police telling us today that they are cooperating in the effort to find the young woman described as
she's still in the hospital and we don't know what happened.
5'7", weighing 130 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. Taijay's mother says her daughter had never gone missing, and she kept constant communication with her. Another reason why this family is so concerned.
And thank you for being here with.
All right, so let's close that and let's zoom out. Is there anything we need to zoom in on? I guess we don't have the video of the one guy that I've been trying to find. I guess the videos, yeah, I think it's not there. It would have
We're
been.
hearing other people saying that she's not missing.
Yes, I've had one person. She's been contacting me. She's basically said Taijay has been found. She's not missing anymore.
Okay.
And she wrote me.
And you would like to know if we have more information?
Yes, ma'am, because we basically are teams that has been helping look for her, a support team, and we just wanted to make sure because it just did not sound right to us, and nobody heard anything or anything has been placed on the news.
And they still haven't talked about it in the news. Only in this group can you find this information.
And this has been said since yesterday. So we was trying to find out what's going on. Is she okay? Do we need to stop looking or,
Okay, and may I have your first and last name, please?
Yes, my name is Ariel Smith.
And may I have your phone number?
All right, so let's get out of here.
Yes.
I believe there is one. Let me see. I thought there was one video left, but maybe.
Hello. Hey, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Is this New York Police Department?
The what? I'm sorry?
Is this the New York Police Department?
This is the media office.
The media office?
Yeah, Deputy Commissioner of Public Information, yeah.
Okay, I was calling in regards of Taijay Baker. I was trying to see what she found.
No, she wasn't.
All right, but that was before she was found, so.
I'm good, how are you?
She's been found since then. But there's a video that's not on here anymore that was, I guess, taken down. I don't see that video anymore. I don't think there's any way for me to get to that video unless I have it loaded up on something that's like, let's see. Yeah, I don't think that video, I don't think I can get that video anymore. I think they took it down. But yeah, that about wraps things up. We thoroughly went through all the information that's out there right now. Yeah, and let me see, feature. Let's do a little refresh. All right, so we're gonna play a little bit more of this and end it off on the press conference. All right, where did I just have the press conference? I had it loaded up. Let's see. Let's find the press conference again. Let's see. Press conference. Discussion. Featured. Might not even be available right now. Let's see. All right, I'll edit that out. Edit out, edit out, edit out. All right, so we're back. All right. Now we're going to just end it off on this.
We called everyone that we possibly could call. And it's sad that some people will step up and some people did not. We got to never forget why we are here. We are here to serve. That's the only reason people vote for you. So I am honored that she felt comfortable enough to keep coming back. And then we started branching out. It's sad that some of the police, our 75th precinct, did not step up. Even though she's 23 years old, she still was a missing person. And it's kind of prevalent that black and brown never get the same attention as a Caucasian individual. And I think about all these cameras. We found someone in the woods in Queens. Why they couldn't just look at a bus station with so many cameras and not one precinct or entity in Washington or Maryland or Atlantic City could not look at a camera and see which way her child went. And this is not a young lady that did not do anything. She was an entrepreneur, a graduate. And that's what we, as a village, supposed to be protecting. And I think about it now, if one hurt, we all hurt. And that's what Miss Baker did. She's my shero, because she did not let somebody else dictate the end. She went, and one thing you got to think about, she had a job. She had to relinquish her job to make sure her child was okay. She did not stop. And that's what now the village needs to come back to make the whole family whole.
You know what I came when I first met you and I saw, you know, the hurt and your pain in your eyes and could hear it in your voice. As a mother, I thought to myself, no mother should have to worry about whether their child's okay. And like you said, it takes the village. When one of our daughters is out there missing and people say something to you like, oh, well, trafficking is something that, you know, we can't do anything about, or, oh, she's probably just trafficking. How did that become an okay thing?
Thank you.
How did that become an okay excuse? How is it okay if someone is caught up in a trafficking ring? Isn't that all the more reason we should be looking, because that means their life is in danger?
Yes.
Right?
This is phenomenal. She went on her own without the police help. She was given the police information, in which we kept trying to find out what was going on. And she put her life on the line. She had to go in places that, you know, in an unfamiliar territory. And that's how I know she's a shero. Moms would go through wars. They would go through tornado to get their child and children's back home to them. So we salute you. We honor you. You did not stop. Some parents would have stayed in New York. So imagine the resources were not there, the financing. So imagine now, that's how we are adamant trying to make sure she get her employment back and to make sure people help her to do healing. We're looking for some holistic places. And I know if this is out there, please refer us to some great holistic places where the family could heal. And that's going to take all of us to do that.
You're absolutely right. You know, and the other thing I just wanted to say is the learning experience for me through this is that black girls and white girls go missing differently. That does not make one life more valuable than the other, but they go missing differently. And that does not mean that they're okay.
It's not. And why is that?
Why is that?
And that's the same reason why my colleague, Councilmember Barron, and myself, and the whole community protested in front of the 75th precinct. Why wasn't missing person put out ASAP after 24 hours. And my colleague Barron said that he will be putting in legislation. It should be automatic. And you got to believe the parents. They know their children. She said she's not one that do not show up. Right there's enough for us to start looking. And I believe the 75th precinct dropped the ball on that, and some others did. And we will try to rectify that.
Taquana, had you not gone looking for Taijay and found Taijay, what was your worst fear?
Well, everybody told me to wish for the best, but I've been in the streets. I'm the street person. So, like, I know what was out there. You can't wish for the best when you know what's out there and when you done been through certain stuff. So once you know that, excuse me, let me just take my time. So once you know that, it's like time is of the essence.
Yes.
You have to get out there. You cannot beat around the bush and stay home. Anyway, I can't stay home even if I wanted to. My nerves wouldn't let me. I had to get up. I had to move around. I had to do something towards getting my daughter back home every day. Even if nobody wasn't with me, my mom was with me. You know, I probably gave her hell, but she was with me. Even if nobody wasn't with me, I had to do what I had to do for my daughter. And I knew she was out there, and I knew she was in danger, and I had to bring her back home, and that's all I knew. I got certain steps. I knew she arrived in D.C., so I got there, and I took it from there.
I mean, this is so heartbreaking and heartwarming at the same time. I'm really glad that she's back home. Are you concerned that this could happen again? How do you stop her from going back, from the forces pulling her back out there?
No, I'm not concerned about that at all because, like I said, she wasn't running away to them. She was lured into this. This is not something she wanted. This is something that happened to her, that somebody stalked her out and prayed on her to do this to her. And also, my daughter is very, like I said, scared up. She's not trying to go back or run back to these people that she encountered. She don't even really want to save these people. So I'm protecting her and myself as well because she don't even want to, you know, she don't want to deal with press. She don't want to deal. She doesn't know how far. That's why I told the police one day that my daughter didn't come across this, couldn't have come across anything, a flyer, anything, because she's not on the internet. So she's not really aware of how far this got. And the story, you know, of her face being out there and people knowing of her.
Was she able to say why she didn't try to come back home or why she didn't call you?
But she did call.
Right, the one time,
Yeah,
but was she...
She didn't trust nobody. She still don't trust nobody. She know me, she know my mom, she knows certain people. But she's not going to talk to nobody. This is why I was on my daughter's heels, because I knew she was running from something. I knew she got away from something, and that was their chance to save my daughter.
Last thing I just want to ask both of you, you're a mother also?
No, I'm not.
So you have a lot of children then.
I have millions of children.
Thousands of young girls and women are still missing out there.
Yes.
Thousands. What advice do you have for any other mother, father, parent, community that is in the same shoes?
To go on their own instinct. Don't follow. Don't leave your children's life in the cop's hands. Or, you know, you have to be out there. You have to put out flyers. You have to make it known. And the best way of making it known is hitting the streets, talking to the people. Because the people is who helped me. The people who was spotted my daughter and have called off the flyers. It wasn't the cops. I couldn't get in contact with the detective that was on the case. More or less the detective that supposedly been in the case. And
that's a real thing. It's very, you know, as with my cousin who was found in the river in Milwaukee, in the Menominee River, you know, it's been very hard to contact the detectives. They hang up on us, stuff like that. And there's actually an update in his case. One of his friends, who's a person of interest, Jordan Bosma finally returned Marcus's cell phone after, it's been over 6 months, 7 months since his death, his mysterious death. But we'll cover that in the future.
Prince, George Prince County. So
They just started ignoring you.
Yeah, I called to get information or see certain things. Nobody would pick up. Nobody called me. Nobody got in contact with me. And this came across Prince George County office 3 times, but no one still got in contact with me. When we did that interview, actually a detective that day came out. And that was the first time I spoke to somebody in that county. But other than that, no help at all. So I suggest all parents, do your parently duties and follow your heart and follow what you know that's right. Don't go on nobody else's instinct, nobody else's thought. You can't leave it up to nobody but the parent, because nobody's going to be out there more than you, and nobody's going to do more than what you're going to do for your kid.
What you do, a mother's instinct. I felt it. Her energy was so strong, and by her going back, it almost felt like we knew she was going to find her daughter. But imagine how many mothers never was able to see their child again. And they may have stayed somewhere and not went out there in the streets. And that's where all the elected officials in Brooklyn should definitely stay on one page. When one hurt, we all hurt. Everyone, D.L. Hughley, we got to thank him. Yes. That interview, the social media, the importance of just letting your voice,
gave me the opportunity
the mic,
to do that. Yes.
That's your voice. Yes. And we thank you for not feeling that it was small. Because our kings and queens out here, because young men are being missing now. But we definitely have to make sure when a parent misses a child, their gut instinct will tell them to keep going. And sometimes you try to be respectful and let the police handle it. Sometimes you cannot do that. You have to do things yourself. Yeah. Never let someone else.
When they say a mom's job never done, a mom's job is never done. And a mom is everything, an aunt, a cop, a cook, everything.
The corner bodega, who knows? That was by her being out there, and they kept seeing her. They knew she was someone, love her. And that's how all those flyers you did, all that time just talking to people made the difference. So that's what we all have to do. One hurt, we all hurt. And we do have a GoFundMe.
I was going to say, how can we help you now?
So just some
All right, so there's 2 words against, it's one word against the other's word. It's Taijay's mom, and then there's Hicks, you know what I'm saying? And we're gonna just end it on this note. So we don't know, what really happened, and so the mom's blaming the Dark-Lordism cult, and the Dark-Lordism cult is saying, they didn't do it. And there was something here he had posted about crabs in a barrel and Christians or whatever, but I can't find it. I guess he hid it. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. All right, so that's it. All right, we covered the topic. For those that didn't know what the Dark-Lordism cult is, we've covered as much as we could find because a lot of stuff was hidden. And maybe those pages will become unhidden one day. But yeah, we covered that, and then we cover the allegations on both sides. The mom is sending her allegations, and the cult is sending their own allegations. You know what I'm saying? And I forgot to add some pertinent information in all this. So this person, and all these allegations going back and forth, this person, MH Jada, says it's crazy how Tatiana Davis, I guess that's the Kollege woman, is trying to act like she had nothing to do with none of this as well. Taijay Baker told her mother where she was going and who she was going to see before she left. She was going to DC to meet up with Tatiana, who she had been cool with for some time. I personally texted Tatiana asking about Taijay's whereabouts, and you can see in the messages below she says she has been also trying to see where Taijay was since May 1st. So if this is your friend and she was coming to see you and you didn't make it, wouldn't you get in contact with her mother or let somebody know that she didn't make it down there and she's not answering texts or calls? Why did the family have to hunt you down and text you first? So let's look at this. Finding Taijay Baker, I, Kollege, my TTM, relieved to deliver and receive the news that Taijay is alive and unharmed. I truly hope that she gets the help that she deserves. I would like to make a video. Let's see, I missed it. I would like to make a video explaining my role in all of this soon. All right. And Taran Hicks said, didn't say anything. All right, let's see these other ones. Hey, spoke to her on the 1st, but haven't since then. I've been texting and calling her, but no answers. Same here. Our family members have been also, but no one has gotten an answer. Haven't seen her in a week. If she contacts you, can you please, LMK, let me know and tell her to call her cousin Jada. All right, let's click on it in here so you can actually see the things. Let's see. Let's go back. All right, user not found. Right. Let's zoom in a little bit. All right, so we just read that and then say, hey, I'm Taijay cousin. Have you seen her lately or spoke to her? Hey, spoke to her on the 1st, but I haven't since then. I've been texting and calling, but no answers. So the Kollege woman is saying that they were supposed to meet up, but never met up. That's why the mom is saying that's all fishy. So these are both allegations going on both sides. So same here, our family members our family members have also been, but no one had gotten an answer. Haven't seen her in a week. If she contacts you, can you please let me know? Right, let's go to this. And I'll keep trying to contact her as well. Thank you so much. And she mentioned she was going to DC. Do you know where she would be out there? The person says she was supposed to be coming to see me, then stopped answering the phone and text. Damn, okay, thank you. This was so helpful. If I get in contact with her, I will let you know as well. You're welcome. I'm glad you could help. Hey, can I see that bus ticket you got? Now, the guy his video got deleted, he said something about them being in, this woman actually living in Baltimore and using DC as a decoy. But this is all alleged. So, the investigation is still going on, and we'll see, what happens, how this whole horrible deal turns out, and see if people are lying or not, or people are telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? We don't know yet. It's all allegations, but we do know that the cult does exist, and the cult is real, and they're really selling, weird products, right? So the person said, damn, okay, thank you. This was so helpful. If I get in contact with her, I will let you know. You're welcome. I'm glad I could help. The person said, hey, can I see the bus ticket you got for Taijay? I really don't understand how your so-called friend is missing and you acting like nothing is going on. I asked you nicely for you to leave me on seeing this crazy. And next time, in the future, we're going to cover, like I was saying, new life tools, selling spells, and even Rod Hayes and Isis Wisdom supporting Rashad Jamal, even with his, R. Kelly crimes, or R. Kelly charges, because they're just charges now. Right? So, yeah, that's a very, very important part, right? And that's, the original picture. So, the focus. That's it. She's been found. But she's in the hospital, and we still haven't heard her statement. And like her mom was saying, she doesn't know that she was on all these every news channel, and she was on full blast. All right, so we'll see what happens with this, because there's a lot of allegations flying around. Okay, peace.